Yeah, either Greedy Williams or Drew Lock. I'm fine with. I'm scared.
All right, pick is in, but still waiting.
They're announcing it for me. All right, you don't have. Just get to the pick. I don't.
Thoughts and prayers to Tyler. All right.
Oh my god! No, I knew they were gonna do that.
What'd they do?
They picked an offensive tackle. Oh my god, bro! I swear to fucking god, Elway.
Why does nobody want this guy right now?
They picked Dalton Reisner.
Yo, I don't even know who this dude is.
Christ.
All right. He played for Kansas State. Holy fuck. Position rank 5 over rank 46. I mean, they need offensive tackles too. But how do you pass on Drew Lock?
Oh, are you watching on the NFL Network or on ESPN?
ESPN. Fucking douchebag, man. Oh, wait. Wait, they made a trade. Wait a second.
What?
They made a trade. They got another pick.
They just traded up. They took.
So what? It's happening. It's happening. They just traded for the next pick. This has to be Drew Lock. It can be nobody else but him.
They're gonna trade up to draft Drew Lock.
That has to be. There's no other reason to trade up for the pick right after.
Yeah, they just traded with the Bengals.
You know what's crazy too? Like they have the 10th, and since they traded back yesterday, they have the 20th. So like if Greedy Williams fell to there, they got Lock and Williams. I might orgasm.
Okay, dude. I'm
Lock is locked in.
Tyler, I'm just gonna say the guy that they picked from Kansas State, like they're playing the highlights of him. Like I know when you're bringing out highlights for a guy, like you only show like the good stuff, but like he actually looks like really good. Like he just pushed a guy all the way from the line of scrimmage to like the sidelines.
I mean, like I said, we need offensive tackles too. So, but like I said, with this pick, they can't go anywhere. But Lock, if you trade for that pick,
they've got to.
I'm gonna. If they don't,
Denver is officially in the quarterback market.
Like he don't even have to play this year. Like we got Flacco, but let him sit and learn. Bro. Oh god, this.
Sorry for the extra delay.
So no. So the 20th pick got traded to the Bengals, so they only have this pick in this round.
I was wondering why Ian Rappaport was talking about a trade that like didn't happen. Yeah,
the pick is in early, boys. This has to be. Please, fucking God. I'm shitting bricks over here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, honestly though, I will say this: if they don't go Lock here, I want them to suck so bad next year that they get like a top 5 pick and either get Justin Herbert or Tua.
Tank for Hughes.
Tank for Tua. I like that better. It goes better.
Tank for Tua.
Yeah, I actually like that better.
or be bad, not next year, but the year after, and get Trevor Lawrence first overall. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like somebody in the Twitter mentions for the Broncos said like literally that they're gonna. I'm pretty sure they said that exact guy they were gonna pick over Lock, like that Reisner guy, which is funny because it actually happened. I'm pretty sure somebody said that.
I just can't wait for them to not take Lock.
Again, I would even be fine with Williams. But you don't trade for the next pick if you don't take the best available
quarterback at this point.
He's the best available overall, too. With a team that has a quarterback need.
Dude, Miles Sanders is still available? How has he not been drafted?
He's a running back. You can pick him off the street.
Well, yeah, but that Penn State offense, though, was...
Can he run a decent 40? Yep, down the street. Okay, he's drafted.
I know, but I expect him to be taken, like, somewhere by now.
There's three guys I would be okay with the Broncos picking: Locke, Greedy Williams, or DK Metcalf.
So not the name I'm forgetting, the other quarterback,
Finley.
Yeah,
not with Locke there. They're showing Locke. This has to.
They got Drew Lock.
Oh, did they? Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Congratulations, you got Lock.
Wow, what a good way to draft there, buddy. Sweet.
And they're sending out the talker again.
There we go. All right, we got the Joe Flacco, the piece for after him. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Come Play podcast. After our hiatus, we are back. It's me, Bobby, and Brendy, and we will be joined by our man Zach later for some NHL talk. But we are back, like I said, after the hiatus, and we have a lot to talk about today. A lot going on. So say what's up, guys, and it's nice to be back, isn't it?
It's very good to be back. I missed hearing your countdown.
Yeah, I mean, it had to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot going on. A lot of life events got in the way for most of us here. But finally back. I think I can speak for all of us. We're excited to be back. Can't wait to talk some sports. Can't wait to talk some video games. We got a lot today.
And yeah, I mean, I will say, I think this time of year, I would say between mid-March and the beginning of June. So you got like the start of March Madness to the end of the NBA and NHL playoffs. There's a lot happening.
Yep.
So that's kind of what's happening here.
I'm already going to predict expect a lot of longer episodes, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we already go long, so
Yeah.
But also, we are recording this on April 26th, and the second round of the draft is on, and we are watching that, so there will probably be some chatter with that as well. The Broncos pick just came up, and pretty happy about that. But let's get into our quick picks, and we will go down. And like I said, we will have Zach on a little bit later in the show to talk about the NHL and the craziness of the first round of the playoffs there. So let's start out with some video games. Actually, we have two topics, video games this week. But MW4, some rumors released. Basically, all signs pointing to MW4 for the next Call of Duty game, which I'm pretty stoked about because the Modern Warfare series is easily my favorite series. Actually, I shouldn't say easily. Black Ops is close.
No, Black Ops is top for me.
I don't know. I mean, you already know MW2 is my favorite game, and MW3 is really good too, and obviously the original, but.
MW3, when that game first came out, I was not a fan of for the longest time because that game had so many problems, so many bugs, and just way too many imbalances. But it wasn't until kind of later in the cycle, maybe May, maybe that's the summer before the next Call of Duty came out, where I actually started really enjoying it.
I will say I might have a little bit of bias toward MW, like the Modern Warfare series, because like I feel like that's the games I played the most. Like I have a friend who that was his favorite game, and we would literally stay up all night till the goddamn sun came up playing MW3 and GTA 4. But yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of the Modern Warfare series.
Modern
Like I
Warfare 2,
said,
man, respect.
yeah,
Absolute respect.
Yeah.
Can we real quick talk about all the hints?
sorry, real quick. By the way, I'm pretty sure the Patriots just moved up in the draft. So,
They did, yes, they absolutely did.
so Bobby
But what
has
do they
something to
do?
look forward to there. But yeah, I don't know. I've always had this thing with Modern Warfare. But sorry, continue what you were gonna say.
No, I was just gonna say, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Oh, can we just talk about for a second all the hints that have dropped so far in regards to because I think they're pretty funny.
Yeah. Looking at the oh my god, I'm sorry everybody, my dog just decided to break down my door. He's coming on in. Anyway, yeah, so reading from the GameSpot article, yeah, it looks like there was a lot of hints throughout the year that kind of went toward this, and now it looks like the reveal. The reveal is usually sometime soon, isn't it? I think isn't it like early spring?
Yeah, it'll be early around this time, but it's funny because you got Robert Bowling, who used to be the head of Infinity Ward, even saying that he's heard some insider stuff that it's definitely going to be Modern Warfare 4. But I think my favorite is an article from Eurogamer that came out, and the first 4 words for the article about the event they were looking at, it says Modern Warfare 4. Like it was really funny. And then the big thing was this private test event with some football players. I don't even know who was there, but you couldn't see what was on the screen.
Sorry to cut you off, but I'm pretty sure it was like NFL draft to bees, like because I know Devin Bush, who got selected by the Steelers, went to Michigan, put something on his Instagram about like playing the new Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So
you hear someone like slow down a video that was taken, and you hear the words kill streaks and Modern Warfare. You don't hear 4, so I don't know. It's really strange. A lot of heavy rumors, and there was like a graphic that came out. I think I retweeted it on Twitter, or at least linked it somewhere. That might have been a leaked graphic for what Modern Warfare 4 is going to look like, the logo and everything. So heavily rumored. I'm excited for it personally. It's been a while, so I'm excited to see what they do next with the series.
Yeah, I think I was thinking that Black Ops 4 would be the next game I got into, and I never actually got it this year. But if the MW4 is the game that comes out, I'd definitely get into that. And I
just want to say really quick, and this is kind of my fault. None of us have really had much of a chance to play Black Ops 4.
No.
And that's part of that is also because not all of our friends have it, because I decided to try it out on PC this year, thinking that everyone else was going to join me. But I will say, I think for the most part I've learned my lesson, and I might switch back to console, and with Modern Warfare 4, hopefully we can all get it.
I probably would get console
the thing
again.
for me, like, it wasn't even that. It was like you think about it now, like, I mean, I can't even remember like the last time I heard anything about Black Ops 4, or like a YouTube video, like from the people that used to, put out all the old COD videos. Like, I don't even remember any of them releasing anything like recently. Like, I just haven't even, like, Blackout was like the whole thing, like that lasted for a little bit, and then but yeah.
Well, let's be honest with ourselves. Call of Duty YouTube has been dead for years. So
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, really, who's the most notable Call of Duty YouTuber right now? Like, probably Nero Cinema.
T-Martin?
Well, T-Martin. He does like a variety of content. I was thinking of Nero.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's not even about YouTube anymore. It's the streamers. Like, everybody was playing Blackout in the beginning. They might still be,
Even
And
Ninja was playing Blackout for a while.
They got Dr. Disrespect was playing, Shroud was playing. I don't think Summit played much, but yeah, two of the bigger Twitch guys. So, but YouTube's been dead since the rise of Twitch in regards to gaming content. So,
right.
So you don't really see that much anymore.
Yeah. But I mean, hopefully, Modern Warfare 4 can kind of bring a little spark needed, because I will say, like, I definitely did want another Modern Warfare game.
Yeah.
It's something to really look forward to. I think maybe able to kind of bring some of the fans back.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it all points to good signs.
Yeah, I'm excited. Bring back Spec Ops. Come on, do it.
So,
you want to. You want to.
That would be something.
You want to. And I'm also hearing about an MW2 remaster along with this too, but I'm not getting about that yet.
Me so erect.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. What remastered MW2?
Yeah, I mean, look, we got the backwards compatibility, which I'm fine with. But a remaster would explode on YouTube.
Well, it would probably be campaign only. I mean, we talked about this earlier.
I know.
Yeah,
I know, and you're right, but goddamn, they better change their mind.
If it's campaign only, then it's probably not going to do well. As good as the campaign.
Yeah, look, as good as the MW2 campaign was, that's not what made it famous. Trust me.
By the way, I don't want to be doing this the whole podcast, but I just want to say, since it was the Patriots traded up and got a cornerback with the last name Williams, but it was not Greedy Williams.
Corner.
Listen,
everybody, corner.
Yeah, and the Browns traded up too.
Joe Juwan Williams. So there you go.
From Vanderbilt.
So
why not? Jesus, 6'4".
That's just crazy to me, though. Like how much Greedy Williams has fallen. But anyway, So, I mean, that would be the one thing. Like, I'd be very disappointed if MW2 did come back and it was only campaign. But like, that is there's a very good chance of that happening. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, I mean, for this game, like I said, I mean, there wasn't a Modern Warfare game that I didn't like. I enjoyed them all, so
yeah,
I would be very happy. But
I would go as far as say that Call of Duty 4, which was the first Modern Warfare installation, really put Call of Duty on the map in terms of content creation and everything else. Like, that's where Optic always talks about where they got their start and everything else. I mean, MW2 was the explosion, but I think COD 4 definitely got everything going. Like, it was like the stepping stone, and then World at War with Nazi zombies, but definitely the first Modern Warfare installation. I mean, the first 3 Call of Duties seem, I mean, I never played them, but they seem decent enough. They just weren't that special quite yet.
I'm glad you brought that up, Bobby, because I just want to say, like, back in the day when like Zach had an Xbox 360, like back when they first came out, and one of the first games he ever got was Call of Duty 2.
Yeah,
and literally all we would do is, like, I would go to his house and we would split screen into like just 1v1, and of course, like that's where the whole screen cheating or screen peeking thing began.
Yeah,
but the gameplay is like really interesting because, like, you can't really customize your classes. Like,
no?
Yeah, you basically just pick from like 5 or 6 different classes. There's no kill streaks, and you cannot sprint.
Oh.
So you're just walking around like we were like hard scoping and like camping, like trying not to. And the maps are like really small as well, like unsurprisingly, because you can't sprint.
Yeah. I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, but like there was this one map. I'm trying to think of a comparison. Kind of think of it as like Cracked from Black Ops 1, where there's two different sides, and like there's like a giant hill in the middle. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, me and Zach would like just try to see how far away we could like no scope each other before one of us eventually died.
Yeah.
And that was the shit, right? And of course, you put health on like 10%, so there's no hit markers.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say, I apologize if you already said this already, because like I said, I am watching the draft as well. But Robert Bowling put out or replied to somebody on Twitter. So So the guy's at was, I don't know how to say this, Chuylolo, I don't know, Chuyylo, tweeted out that I'll shit myself if it's Modern Warfare, and Robert Bowling tweeted back, you better buy some brown pants. So,
I mentioned it briefly, but I didn't mention what the tweet was.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, looks all signs pointing to that, and that would
which is fine by me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be nice. I'd be all for that. And then moving on to the other video game related topic, the Madden 20 cover star was announced, and it is the MVP. Patrick Mahomes. So it's interesting every year with the Madden covers because you always have this Madden curse thing, and every year it's Madden curse this, Madden curse that. And Patrick Mahomes obviously had incredible year. And there you go, by the way. Greedy Williams just got drafted by the Browns, who moved up to get him. So the Browns making absolute moves. That'll be the last time. Hopefully I talk about the draft until we get to that part. But yeah. So, they announced this. But, I mean, in my opinion, again, from a GameSpot article I'm reading this from, there is bigger things to talk about here. With some things centered around the basically career mode, for lack of a better word, because I think it's called franchise mode, but being able to actually excuse me, Jesus, I can't think. Being able to actually control one person is doing a revamp, which is nice because it's kind of been like I get Madden almost every year, if not every year. And it's kind of been dead. Like, it's very plain Jane, like very bland. So one of the things that was announced is that you will be able to choose a quarterback for this mode. And if you choose a quarterback, you'll be able to choose from 10 different colleges. I will go through them very quickly because it is worth noting with the whole thing with the ban on college football. But we have Texas, Oregon, Oklahoma, Clemson, Florida, LSU, Miami, Texas Tech, USC, and Florida State being the 10 teams you can choose from.
Fucking Michigan, this is bullshit.
Yeah, a lot of Southern teams there, but
SEC.
But here's the catch to this. This all sounds fine. I mean, 10 teams, not that much, but still being able to play. Except that it says dominate the college football playoff, which the college football playoff is a maximum of 2 games. So a little bit sad there. And I was pissed off because I was telling the guys, like, I see this article and it's like Madden 20 confirmed with cover star release date, college football mode. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is about to be groundbreaking. And no.
Can you imagine they bring back college football games? Can you imagine like the crowd, the band, like all those animations, like dude, in modern graphics now, dude? Like, that'd be nuts.
I'm not kidding when I say this. I would pay $300 per game for a college basketball and college football game.
Don't give them the idea. You remember you're talking to the NCAA.
I have NCAA 16, which was the last game that got released. I thankfully have that. But like literally last year, I bought college basketball. I think it's like, I want to say 12. It has Blake Griffin on the cover. And like imported the rosters from like last year and played. And I mean, it's cool and all, but like a modern game would be awesome.
Tyler, do you remember when we were out shopping when you were in Georgia and I found a copy of NCAA March Madness 04 with Carmelo Anthony on the cover?
Yeah.
I was so close to buying it just
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I mean, obviously like vendors are putting the price up because there's no games left. Like, that game came out in 2012. I paid, I think, $45 for it, but I was like, I don't care. Like, I just want I love college sports, and like I would just love to have those games again. But yeah, I mean, so continuing on with this for the beta pro mode, it says, so after college football playoff, impressive scouts, and it has a combine logo, so it looks like there'd be a combine. which is kind of cool. And then it says the draft, which has been there, prove where you belong on the field, obviously playing. And then one thing that's minor, but it could be a big deal, it says play in the Pro Bowl. And for anybody who hasn't played, the Madden series, it actually used to be in the game where you could play the Pro Bowl, but since it's EA, they take good things out of the game. But now it's back, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, just a little thing there. Patrick Mahomes, even though he's a Chief and a division rival, it's hard not to like that guy after what he did last year. So nice to see him on the cover. But will that Madden curse come back to bite him? Do you guys believe in that, by the way? Like, do you believe in the Madden curse, or is it just like some bullshit?
I mean, it really depends.
I was about to say, like, I feel like it almost, like, I feel like sometimes, like, it skips years, because, like, I mean,
yeah,
like, Tom Brady was on the cover, nothing bad happened to him, so.
Thank God.
Well, I'm trying to.
I bet Bobby was sweating bullets about that.
He may have had a couple more interceptions than normal, but otherwise he didn't get hurt or anything.
Well, I'm trying to think.
That's the main thing, because it's like,
yeah, it's like he get hurt.
Yeah, Michael Vick got on the cover and broke his fucking leg.
Yeah, and I mean Gronk was on the cover a couple years back, but he always hurt. So
yeah,
I mean he's retired now. So
I mean,
I don't think we got to talk about that on the show, but he's retired.
I will say this: the last game was Antonio Brown, which the Steelers went to the playoffs.
Oh yeah, about that.
All that backlash. The year before was Brady, and he lost the Super Bowl. The year before.
Well, that's not a curse right there. For Brady.
Yeah, but they win the Super Bowl every year, so it's a curse that they lost the Super Bowl.
Look, we were in the Super Bowl.
I think Bobby's just happy about being in the Super Bowl
most of the time. Yeah, and I said before I didn't mind losing to the Eagles of all teams. I was fine losing to them.
Who else?
I know Tyler has a burning hatred for that team.
I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I want to be okay with losing in the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, that's my goal.
I know. It's a privileged attitude. I completely understand.
I feel honestly, I'm the one person probably in this chat right now that is very upset about the way the Falcons lost their Super Bowl. So,
I mean, as you should be, and then not to mention, it's not like you had another chance the following year, which makes it even worse. Like, at least for the Patriots, it's always like, we lose, we're back next year.
Well, we did make the playoffs next year, but we lost in
beating a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was gonna say we lost in the divisional round, and
we've been the past 3 years.
Yeah, so it's kind of a shame, but I don't know, man.
I couldn't even brag to you at the end of that game. I was like, good game, I think is what I ended up calling you and saying.
Well, I don't remember if I called you or if you called me, but I
definitely called you.
I remember, like, me and you, like, the week before made like a pizza bet.
Yeah, the pizza bet.
And we were I was like, when the Falcons were up 28-3, I was like, man, what do I want on my pizza? But
let me tell you something right now.
I don't know what I was more disappointed: the fact that the Falcons lost the Super Bowl like that, or the fact that I lost a bet to Bobby and had to give him a pizza.
God complex. So you would have been more than happy with me buying you a fucking pizza from like miles away.
Yeah,
you would have gone off on that.
If I was in Brendy's shoes, don't call me.
Yeah,
because I'll say something. I will say something that you're not going to want to hear, and I don't want to end a friendship over that.
Okay, Bobby, I was chill though, right?
You sounded defeated, but no, you were going to be like, yeah, it was a good game. Yeah, I can't believe what I just saw. Like, you were robotic is what you sounded like. I wish I recorded that call.
Because I was in the living room watching the Super Bowl with Rachel May. Yeah. And my stepdad, and if you know anything about him, he's like he's like one of those like really like hardcore workaholics, and like he was like getting up, watching one play, sitting back down, working a little bit more.
Jesus.
But like, he didn't even watch the ending because he knew the Falcons were going to win, the Falcons were going to lose as soon as it went into overtime, and I did too. I was like, literally when overtime started, I was like, okay, it's okay if the Falcons can win the coin toss. and they fucking lost the coin toss. Like, all right, it's over.
That's when I think it's when you accept that the football gods just had a different plan for that day.
I
honestly.
considered turning off the TV right then.
50-50 chance and it goes the way of the team that has the momentum right now.
Yep.
Like, it's nasty. It was nasty. And like I said, I remember when I called you, I don't think I really was like, oh my God, yeah, we won. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I think we both were just like, what? Okay, I guess. Like,
because I knew the Falcons were going to get rained with me, and they were going to be ugly.
It was a field day on Twitter for a lot of people.
But like when it was 28-3, I think I was texting you, Bobby, and like you were basically like you were like, yeah, it's over. Yep. And then which
because we were sloppy, man. I mean, you watch that.
So I just want to say real quick before I move on, I do blame the on Skip Bayless though, because Skip Bayless, I remember 28-3, he tweeted out, well, that's it. The Falcons are Super Bowl champions.
Shit.
Like, and as soon as he tweeted that out, I was like, Patriots are going to come back.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing from that night is the Reddit threads coming from the Atlanta subreddit. Oh my God, it was delicious, man. Oh my God.
If Skip Bayless tweeted out that the sun would rise tomorrow, like, we would all die.
It'd be 30 days of fucking night after that, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Skip Bayless for being a prick.
Yeah. Fuck you, Skip Bayless.
Brendy's like, yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah.
But so Madden 20 is set to launch on August 2nd, and you can buy the Superstar Edition and get the game 3 days early.
So, Tyler, I have a question. What exactly... So, you were talking earlier about, like, the Madden series and how, it's not doing as well as it could. What exactly could it use to maybe, like, kind of grow its fan base a little bit more?
Not be a roster update every year, which EA Sports seems to do. I will say, 2 years ago they introduced Long Shot, which was like the story mode thing. It was like you played high school football and stuff like that, and that was kind of cool. And they continued that last year, but like you can get through that in probably less than 4 hours. And then after that, it's the same game. You have Ultimate Team and franchise mode are the two big things, and they've been basically, besides minor changes, basically the same game every year.
So I guess another thing I've noticed, like when I downloaded the Madden 19 beta, because I know the beta, like, it's obviously not the full game. It's just, or no, it wasn't even the beta. I got the EA Sports Pass or whatever.
Oh yeah, access, yeah.
So I played for a little bit, and I downloaded the game. I played it, and I got on the menu. I saw like play now, like be a pro, be a GM, and I was like, is that all there is to do in this game?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like I said. I mean, you have play now. You have your franchise mode, which is encapsulates like be a GM, NBA Pro, and Ultimate Team. Then they have like it's called like Gatorade Steer. It's like a training thing, like where you can do like kind of crazy challenges. But I mean, other than that, it's been like that for probably the last 3 or 4 years, and it's very frustrating.
So,
like I said, I don't know if this is, like I said, this also sounds like a couple minor changes. Like it sounds like it's going to be a lot of the same. Because if you really take the college football playoff, that's going to take you less than an hour, and then it's basically the same game except you get the combine, which would take a little bit, and the Pro Bowl. Other than that, it's going to be the same game.
So what if the Madden series did something kind of like what's it called, like seasons in NHL? Like what if they did something like that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Ultimate Team is. I will say, out of all the sports games, the Ultimate Team is the best because they have a lot of like single player stuff. It doesn't have to be online all the time.
Really, even better than FIFA? Really?
Yeah, and I was just thinking like NHL added like a lot of some challenges too, where it was offline. But Madden's been doing that forever, and they always are doing updates, and the cards are always really good. They do Halloween stuff, Thanksgiving stuff, Team of the Year stuff like that. I mean, I think it's up there. But again, it's at this point it's a copy and paste job, and it's very frustrating. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's going to be hard for me not to want to buy this now because of the college football element. But like, if that's all it's at, like, I think I'd rather keep my $60 because I can literally just play the game from last year and fucking play NCAA 16 and get the same better experience probably.
It's so funny hearing you talk about kind of copy paste jobs when I think knowing full well we still buy the NHL games every year. Like it's always a fucking seesaw when it comes to
like
this kind of.
Well, the competitive aspect of NHL is what keeps me from, or it's what drives me every year.
I mean, honestly, like I am fully aware that it's a copy and paste job, but or for the most part, but like I've just basically admitted defeat at this point.
It's a sports game I have the most fun with. Like Madden, I'm not really into that much. Like
the thing. I mean,
I don't know.
Madden,
That's just me though.
Madden releases their game in August when all the other sports games release in September. So it's like, yeah, and I'm always so excited for the for football. So I'm like, I buy it, but then like I think the last time I played Madden was like January, December, maybe. Like I haven't played it in forever, so
yeah,
I don't know. We probably should move on though.
You're $60 at work there, bud.
Yeah. Really, I know. I do this all the time though. Like I tell myself every year, I'm not gonna buy the sports game. And what do? I buy the sports game. It's just
buy
like
the fucking sports game.
Just don't buy Madden. Like skip Madden this year. How about that?
I mean, FIFA and NHL will always be there, and then like NBA. NBA is such a good game. It's just that I'm not into basketball as I am the other sports. But like,
well, that and you don't really have anyone to play with either.
No, I mean I don't have anybody to play with FIFA, NFL, or NBA. But
here's the thing though, the NBA actually has an official fucking esports league now with the NBA games. Like the 76ers have a team and some of the other NBA teams have a team. Love to see it for the NHL. Ain't gonna happen, but love to see it.
I feel like the NBA players, like pro players, are so tryhard though. Like out of all the games, like they're just the most tryhard.
My favorite is the videos that like if like somebody's girlfriend deletes their BA Pro or whatever.
All hell is raised.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Tyreek Hill on their ass too soon. Okay, moving on. So
not soon enough.
Two bits of information from the NHL in terms of coaches. One being for the Flyers, the other for the Panthers. So we'll start with the Flyers hiring Alain Vigneault from he was coaching the Rangers, and he will become the 21st head coach in team history. I will say, I know a lot of the Flyers fans want to Q, but this man in his own right is very successful, and I think I will say this: I'm a little surprised because Scott Gordon came in to a team that was in tatters from Hackstall and did his goddamn hardest to get them to the playoffs, and it wasn't enough in the end. But like, had there not been such a bad start, he probably would have got him there. And they kind of just let him. Like, did they let him walk, or is he going back to the AHL?
So all I heard was that it sounds like he's okay with going back to the Phantoms and coaching again, but he definitely doesn't want an assistant role in the NHL at all. So he either wants to get a head coach job somewhere or nothing. Gotcha. Seems to be his way to go. That was the last I heard. But no, shout out to Gordon for taking that over. I liked what he did. You're absolutely right with coming in from a system falling apart because of the firing of Hextall and Hackstall. And, let us on somewhat of a hopeful run. Still couldn't quite get there, but yeah, the bad start definitely did us in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking here. So Dave Hackstall was fired on December 17th.
What a glorious day that was. Oh, my Christ.
What a great early Christmas present. He won 12-15-4. And yeah, like I said, from there, I mean, also just in a very, I mean, it's the NHL at this point, but just a very competitive division. It's going to be tough to crawl back from that. But yeah, I mean, Vigneault is a guy that has had success. Was the coach for the Canucks in 2010 when they made it to the finals, and the Rangers with their, I mean, they've been declining, obviously, because they're in rebuild. But he was a successful coach there. I like the hiring, but I just, like I said, I almost feel bad for Scott Gordon. I really do.
No, I'm with you. I'm absolutely with you.
Because
I do like the hire. I didn't even.
He had an uphill climb, man.
He did. He absolutely did. I mean, he was getting into an organization that was just completely off its rocker. It lost the GM, lost the coach. I mean, that's a bad ending. But the fact that he took that team and all these young players and made at least a decent effort out of it each time says something. So, I hope if he doesn't go back with the Phantoms, I want him to go back to the Phantoms. I really do. I want him in the system. But if he doesn't go back to the Phantoms, I hope he gets a head coach job in the NHL somewhere else, because I do like what he does. I do appreciate what he did coming up in that way. And, so best luck to him, whatever he ends up doing. But no, I absolutely agree. But I do like the hiring. I didn't even think about him as a potential hire. I didn't even think about it.
I feel like everybody was just so fixated on Q. That's why.
Yeah, no, and I was one of those people. And then once he got hired, I'm like, well, I don't know who the hell else it is. It's got to be Gordon getting a rehire, right? And then, I forgot. Yeah, he got fired earlier. Whoops.
Yeah.
So looking at his stats right on paper, he's been coaching since in the NHL from starting in 97-98 when he was with Montreal for 3 years. He had a 4th, 5th, and 4th place finish respectively. And then after that, he had 4 years, 4th, 5th, 4th, 5th, and then went to Vancouver, which was his kind of mainstay for quite a while. Had a lot of first place finishes, and then of course a Stanley Cup appearance. Then went to the Rangers in 2013, where in his first season there, he got him to again the Stanley Cup Finals, and then was fired last year from the Rangers. I mean, he has first, second, third finishes each time. So, I mean, he's obviously a playoff coach. He has a ton of playoff experience. And I keep saying this, and I sound like a broken record, or maybe I'm just dead wrong in two bias. I really think the Flyers on paper are a decent team enough to at least get into the wild card of the playoffs each time.
They finally figured out their goalie situation. So.
Yeah, I know. And think about it. If Hackstall was still coach, Hart would have never played this season at all.
Yeah.
Like, the only reason he played originally was because out of pure necessity because of all the injuries. But he did not, and Hextall too, did not want him up here yet. And he comes up here and he's hanging with the boys, man. I mean, he's ready. He was definitely getting exhausted, carrying this fucking team on his back, but he's ready, man. I'm so excited for this kid. I'm so excited. I'm excited for a lot of the prospects, but I won't get into that right now. I'm excited for next season, especially with this new coach. I'm curious to see what he ends up bringing. I hope it's a brand new fucking system. I want him to blow this system out of the fucking water and just do something new. I'm tired of the dump and chase, man. Please.
So the guy that everybody thought, Q was fired around before the whole thing with Hackstall. So a lot of people were saying that he was going to be the coach. He ends up going to the Panthers, which is fun. Like, honestly, that's such a perfect spot for him because he's had his success. Let me just go to Florida. Such a nice place.
Right.
I'm old. The taxes are like really low.
Yeah.
Like, let me just do it. So yeah,
going from fucking Windy City to fucking beautiful Florida.
Yeah.
I gotta say, what's also good is that he's gonna make a legacy out of himself here because Florida is in such bad shape that it's gonna be up to him to really turn around this whole fucking team.
God, I feel like every year I'm like, it's gonna be this is the year the Panthers make the playoffs. And I think I've been saying that for the past 3 years.
They've been like, every time you look at the standings toward the end of the year, past couple of years, it's always been, they're only like 4 or 6 points out of a wild card spot, and then everything collapses.
Yeah,
and it's bad. And I had to look on paper for this, and their 6-year history, they've only been in the playoffs 4 times. So if anybody's going to finally put them on the up and up from here on out, it's going to be Coach Q. I mean, the Flyers wanted him for a reason. The Flyers wanted him as soon as he got fired from Chicago. Hackstall wasn't even remotely close to being fired yet. as soon as he was fired from Chicago, everyone wanted him, and I kind of sided with them, like absolutely bring him over here. But no, he'll be very good in Florida, as he has been with every team that he's coached, especially Chicago. 3-time Stanley Cup champion.
He's got quite the resume, by the way,
Yeah.
because not only as a coach, but he got selected as a player in the second round by the Leafs, and 803 career NHL games, and obviously his coaching career starting off with the Blues and then going to the Avs, Nordiques and Avs, and then the Blackhawks. And a guy who just for so long was just was the guy, basically the headmaster.
Guy behind the bench, he was the face.
Yeah, I for a dynasty at that point. I mean, Chicago is, I think, as close to a dynasty in hockey for a while as you can kind of get.
Tays, Kane, Crawford, Sharp.
I mean, with their success in the 7 years with three cups, yeah. So good for him, man. Like I said, I feel like it's just a perfect spot. Cause he's 60 now. Just like, I mean, who doesn't want to live in Florida?
Honestly, he looks older than 60.
He really does. He really does.
Oh my God, he's been through it, man. But I mean, absolutely tremendous success. So he'll be good. You might see Florida finally in a wild card. You never know. I mean, I don't think they have any of the weapons quite yet, but at least coaching. I mean, you see what happened with the Islanders with a new coach this year.
Literally.
So,
God, I mean, we'll talk about the NHL playoffs in a bit, but that's crazy. But we will now transition into the NBA playoffs with a quote-unquote first-round recap, and I say that because there is 2 series right now still going on. One that you would not expect to be still going on, quite frankly, Golden State and the Clippers, and the Denver-San Antonio series. Like I said, we are recording on April 26th. So, yeah, let's do a quick little recap on this. We'll start off. Let's start off by at least addressing the 2 series that are going on right now. Did anybody see the Golden State going to Game 6 against the Clippers?
I was hearing things, but never quite watched anything quite yet.
Like,
I just know Lou Williams had a good game.
So, like, literally, I'm doing a bracket, and I'm pretty sure I had Golden State sweeping. No, I was gonna say the first 2 rounds, but that's not true. I think I had them like in 4 and then in 6, but like.
I wouldn't I didn't make a bracket, but I'm not sure if I would have had Golden State sweeping the Clippers. Like, they always seem to play really well against Golden State. I would have expected like maybe 4-1, but not anything like they are right now.
I mean, the whole thing coming into this series after Game 1 was Patrick Beverley and KD. That was pretty funny. By the way, don't look now. The Warriors were up 3-1, and LA won Game 5, so we'll see where that goes.
Let's make it happen.
Are we about to go into meme overload if this happens?
No chance they lose this series. They wrap it up tomorrow, I say. But yeah, like I said, I just don't think anybody seeing them getting to this point. Like I said, a lot going on with KD and.
They play tonight, by the way, not tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I was looking at their thing. I was like, 10 p.m. Like, that would be like, literally.
That'll be an hour and a half from now.
West Coast.
Yeah. So, like I said, not much to add to this because, like I said, I would have a really, really hard time saying the Clippers winning the series, and if that happened, the fucking NBA would flip upside down. Not having LeBron in the finals and then Golden State, like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, let's go to the next one that's going on. Denver and San Antonio. So the 2 versus the 7. San Antonio, though, always never a tough. They're always tough, is what I'm trying to say.
You can never count them out.
Not a joke, that's for sure. And they actually, they win game 1. They win game 3. They win game 5. They won game 6. So it's been very back and forth. And then game 7 in Denver tomorrow at 10. And yeah, I mean, this has been. I don't. Do you think? I think probably the best. I don't know. I was gonna say.
Look at the rest of the fucking series numbers. I would think this would be one of the better ones.
I was gonna say the better one, but I mean, OKC and Portland was good, even though it was only 5 games, just because the whole thing with Russ and Dame. But yeah, I mean, this has been one of the better series.
I think it's been one of the better series simply because like the Nuggets, man, like they're the surprise of the NBA this season for sure. Like yeah. I thought for sure they were going to be a playoff contender, but I did not expect them to be a 2 seed.
I don't
with Nikola Jokic. They signed Paul Millsap in free agency. I mean, they made a lot of good signings that and they basically come out to play. Gary not Gary Harris. Jamal Murray. He's put up some really nice numbers as well. So they're playing. You said they're playing tomorrow. That'll be a really interesting game. Too bad I'll end up missing it again. But
yeah,
that's definitely something to watch tomorrow.
Real quick, another draft update. Miles Sanders goes to the Eagles, so staying in state with being at Penn State. That's a good pickup for them. But yeah, I said this series, but the other series that has ended, Portland won the series 4-1 against OKC. But that series was simply good just because the matchup with Dame and Russ, that was something, and Dame had the last laugh with the insane shot to the buzzer beater to win the series from like basically the logo.
Yep,
a dumb shot.
It was crazy, and he just he knew it. He just knew. But yeah, I mean, a lot of back and forth in this series. God, man, the thing about Russell Westbrook is like he's recorded some things with Kevin Hart and stuff like that. And he's recorded some like stuff, and he sounds like he's like a cool guy. He's like, all right, like I can kind of get behind this guy. And then like when he gets on the court or talking anything about basketball, he's like the biggest dickhead ever. And it's really hard to like him. Like as bad as that is to say, like it's like especially like with him and Embiid and basically their little rivalry and us being Sixers fans, like it's very hard to like him. But
I thought he was kind of the sweetheart though after KD left though. Like,
well, you would think, but apparently, I mean, he loves to be the antagonizer. It's really what it comes.
A lot of the NBA gets that way, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like I said, I watched the game that OKC actually did win was Game 3. I watched, and there was just back and forth, and I really thought that they were going to get into a brawl this series. It didn't end up happening, but it's definitely going to see it happening. But that was very enjoyable, like I said, just because of the rivalry there. And then rounding out the Western Conference, Houston, no surprise here, wins the series 4-1 over Utah. Not a pretty good year for Utah, all things considered. Unfortunately for them, they just ran into Houston, with Houston being the 4th seed this year. But obviously they can always take it to the next level. But not a bad year for them. But this one, not too much of a the games actually between them were relatively close. Besides game 1, I guess game 2 was a 20-point game too, but the games are actually not bad. And Houston being a 4 seed, don't let that number fool you, because they will most likely end up playing Golden State in the second round, and that's going to be a bloodbath. And whoever comes out of that they might be the team going to the final. So, that rounds out the West, and then heading over to the East, we will start off with the sweep by the Milwaukee Bucks. Not much of a surprise here. Giannis continues to be an absolute monster. And it was funny. I was at my friend's house the other day, and we were looking. As good as the Sixers are now, and the draft picks they have made that were good with Embiid and Simmons and their core guys there now. They've made a lot of bad draft picks because they've had a lot of top 10 picks the last basically, I would say 7 years. This all started because we were watching Nerlens Noel. And we were kind of going back and talking about all their bad draft picks. Yeah, Noel, Fultz, unfortunately, didn't pan out. MCW.
I didn't think Nerlens Noel was that bad of a pick. Okay, now Nerlens Noel, like obviously, like not that good of an NBA player, but when he was with the Sixers, like he was like, he was really good.
I mean, it just the other guy was Okafor, he actually had a pretty decent season when Anthony Davis was out this year with the Pelicans, but the reason I bring that up is because we were looking at the guys that the Sixers potentially could have picked. And it's still crazy to me that Giannis was picked. I want to say either 15th or 17th. And he's an absolute monster. I mean, I don't know. You talk about just a pure athlete, and he is scary. Like just with the size and the speed and the athleticism. They'll be a tough team to beat this postseason just with him alone, and they got a good team surrounding him too. So, I mean, the Pistons were just not. they had nothing for the Bucks, and
I mean, and also like you're praising Giannis a lot, but like he's got a pretty good team around him. Like he's got Bledsoe, Middleton, and what's his George Hill as well.
I always liked Middleton because he was like, now the whole thing in the league is 3-and-D, and he was, always kind of been a very good 3-point shooter.
Yeah, I've always really liked Bledsoe. Excuse me, Bledsoe. He's kind of been. It's funny. He's always been like kind of a solid role player, like when he was with the Suns, or not a solid role player, but like a fringe starter.
Yeah.
With the Suns, and now with the Bucks, he definitely seems like he's blossomed into that. He could start, on most NBA teams for sure. Whereas with the Suns, it kind of seemed like he was only starting because the team sucked.
But yeah, I was about to say, like, it takes a good team, and look where he's at now. But I mean, no, he's been good. I think. Obviously, with them being the 1 seed, now they have a tough matchup with the Celtics, but I do see them winning that series. But yeah, I mean, just a great team there, and the other sweep in the East was Boston over the Pacers. Pacers, tough year for them because of apparently my phone thought I said Siri. That was not the case. So I don't know what.
Even Apple's ruining podcasts now. Even this just furthers my hatred for that company.
This series, the games were actually very close. The first game was super low scoring, 84-74. But then game 2, 99-91, you got 104-96, and the last game was 110-106. So I mean, they kept it competitive. But in the end, the Celtics were just too much. And the thing about the NBA this year for me is like now you have a situation where with the Celtics in the East and the Houston in the West, like they both fell to the 4 seed. So now you have very good matchups in the second round with, again, like I said, presumably Golden State and Houston, and then Milwaukee and Boston. So it'll make definitely for an interesting second round, but like I said, yeah, Indiana, obviously with Oladipo this year and his injury, just too much for them. But yeah, we move on to the Sixers, who after the first game, not gonna lie, was a little bit nervous. Okay.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it was something.
They lose the first game 111-102, but after that they were kind of on cruise control. I mean, game 4 was close. but Game 5 ended.
Oh my god!
Game 5 ended 122-100, but that game started off 25-3. So after that, I mean, they had their backups in by the end of the game.
Yeah.
But the question that I actually want to ask, especially Brendy. So, I almost said D'Angelo Williams. But that's not
Wow.
his name.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
Yes, D'Angelo Russell is who I meant. A lot of people are talking about him being the comeback player of the year. How you feeling? I mean, it'd have to be him, right?
Well, the comeback player of the year isn't really something that the NBA does.
Well,
they did you're probably referring to most improved player.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see it as anyone else, and I have to say, like, when he got traded from the Lakers, like, quite honestly, it kind of looked like he was just going to be a scrub the rest of his career. But
yeah,
like that trade to Brooklyn looks like it's really brought the best talent that he's had. Because I remember when I was watching the I think it was the 2015 NBA draft, and they were talking about D'Angelo Russell. They were saying like he has like looking back, like this is like kind of a hot take. They were saying out of every player in the 2015 NBA draft, which includes Porzingis, Karl Anthony Towns, all those people, they were saying he had the chance to be the most likely superstar out of the draft. But they also said that he had the chance of being the biggest bust in the draft.
yeah.
He was one of those players where like he's literally like the biggest gamble you can take. But
I mean, he obviously had the drama there too with Nick Young and stuff like that. Maybe it just wasn't the right culture for him. But I mean, he's doing very well right now.
Yeah, I think he's averaging 21 points, or he averaged 21 points during the regular season.
Yeah.
And I know he was a big part of the reason why the Nets were even somewhat in the series against the Sixers.
Yeah. Him and Karis LeVert. Shout out to my guy LeVert.
Well, Karis LeVert has been one of those players that like always puts up like really good numbers, but no one ever talks about him. Especially when he was with Portland.
You know, it's sad too.
Not Portland. I'm thinking of someone else. Sorry.
Well, I was just thinking, LeVert. The only time that he was talked about this year was when he had that gruesome injury, and he had a very good year. Like, it's kind of unfortunate that that's the case. But I guess that's kind of how it works. But yeah, I mean, he averaged. Let's see, what did he average this year? He averaged, if I can find it. Not gonna find it. That's awesome. But no, I mean, he was a good, good little player this year for them, and he will continue to grow.
Yeah, I do apologize, by the way. I somehow got Karis LeVert mixed up with Alan Crabb. I don't know how.
You guys are sucking today with these names. What are you doing?
To be fair, Crabb did play for the Nets, and then did go. I mean, you got the teams right, but just wrong player.
Well, I mean, Crabb plays for the Nets, but used to play for Portland. That's what I was thinking of. But they're both the same kind of player. Like, they always put up really good numbers, but like they're like hardly ever talked about.
Right. But no, I mean, like I said, I mean him and they got a nice little team there. And they're young, but they had a surprising year this year, even getting to the playoffs. Granted, the East sucks.
And Brooklyn really needed this good season too, because for the past 3 or 4 seasons, like they've been a terrible team and have owned like 0 of their draft picks.
Yeah. Yep.
So like they've been tanking and sucking, which is not a good combination.
No, not at all.
Tanking with no draft picks.
Yeah, that's
like the Boston Celtics are smiling right now, or they were smiling.
Yeah. So last thing on the series, how are we feeling about the Jared Dudley versus the Sixers fucking incident and everything that happened there with the fight or I shouldn't say fight. It was
a fucking mosh pit.
Yeah, it was more of people were pushing and Butler and him got ejected.
Did anyone like dub some like hardcore music over that shit?
Someone
sure
somewhere
somebody
did.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think Jared Dudley. Like literally, Embiid said it perfectly. Like he's just a nobody, and like he looks like Mr. Potato Head. He didn't say that. I said that. Let's get that clear. But yeah, look, I mean, the Sixers got their work cut out for them in this next series against Toronto, who Toronto took out Orlando. No surprise there. I mean, the 1, 2, 3, and 4 seeds advance in the East. But yeah, a little bit of a. This was interesting because Orlando wins game 1 by 3, and it's only game 1, one game, but you kind of start to think a little bit. That was also the game Lowry. I'm pretty sure he had like no points or like close to no points that game. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was game 1 where he just had an absolute shit show of a game. And they end up losing that game. But yeah, I mean, not too much to add to this. Yeah, Kyle Lowry's played 33 minutes that game and had 0 points.
That's unbelievable, dude.
That's kind of hard to do. But yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add to this series, but I will say, as a Sixers fan, in the next round, like I said, we have our work cut out for us. We are not like Toronto has our number, and it's going to be a great matchup. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you got Kawhi, and and him and Butler will probably be going at it, and you got Lowry and Marc Gasol. By the way, Pascal Siakam, breakout year. He's probably another guy that might be considered for most improved. But man, I want to say that the Sixers have this series, but based on like some of the moments they had against the Nets, it's very and what they did going down the stretch, they were resting their players for some of that, but still, like it's just going against a really good team. I kind of worry for them. But we will kind of have to see. I think my prediction for the finals after the first before the first round was Golden State and Toronto. I don't think that changes. I don't know. The Bucks look scary, obviously, but yeah, I mean, I think everybody probably has Golden State, and then whoever out of the 4 in the East.
It's just really difficult for me to pick Toronto like anytime like after what happened last year.
Yeah.
Like I understand they won against Cleveland in like a LeBron playoff mode, but you shouldn't get swept in the second round as 1 seed.
Yeah.
In the NBA.
After what happened like this year, like LeBron playoff mode just doesn't have the same ring to it, like because everybody's just memeing it now. But no, I mean we got what we expected in the East. Like I said, the first 4 seeds advance, and then depending on Denver's game tonight, and again presumably Golden State, it might be the same in the West. So a lot of good basketball to look forward to. And like I said, this is where we're going to get some really good games. The second round will be the best basketball. The first round, you still got a lot of shitty teams in there. So
you got to weed out the bitches,
dude. I'm just ready for the like I don't know why, but for some reason, I guess just me being a Hawks fan, I'm really looking forward to the draft lottery because I want the Hawks to get Zion like so bad. I think that the Hawks have like the 5th best odds to get the number 1 pick. So, and I don't know, is there any like I'm trying to see if there's any trades involving like playoff teams that like would have lottery picks, but I can't think of any right now. But that's one of those. Basketball is one of those sports where like for some reason I always like still look forward to the off season. Not because I'm glad that it's over, but just because of the college athletes because I love watching me some like March Madness and seeing how that affects players' draft stock and all that.
Yeah. Definitely, like I said, yeah, the NBA is good for that, and I think a lot of that has to do with March Madness. I think you're right because players get showcased, but I feel like out of all the sports, the NBA draft there's a lot of coverage on it. Like you know most of the prospects. I feel like, and that.
Dude, I just want to say last year in the draft, Woj and what's the other guy's name? Shams. They both they both tweeted out before the first pick was even announced. It was already confirmed what the first 10 picks were going to be.
Yeah.
And I was kind of pissed. Like I knew the Hawks were going to select Luka and then trade for Trae Young before the number 1 overall pick was even announced.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
and the NHL just had their draft lottery too, didn't they?
Yeah. They did, and I don't know. It's kind of, I guess, that's the age of social media. That's the case. But yeah, I mean, it is it is kind of annoying. I will say, just because of that. But hey, I mean, like I said, I think the NBA draft lottery is really good for just the prospects. Like I said, I feel like, at least for me, like I know, like I'm a huge hockey fan, but like there's so many leagues and so much going on, it's hard to keep up with the NBA and college basketball. Like I feel like most of the guys coming out.
Just a quick tangent question: is there like a consensus number 1 pick in the NHL draft this year?
It's between two guys. Yeah, Jack Hughes and then this guy from Finland named Capo Kakko.
Yeah.
Who basically, like, it's actually, I want to bring it up real quick because I seen it the other day, but there's basically, with, being able to bet on absolutely everything, they of course have they have odds for like who's going to be the first pick in the draft. And I know Hughes is the favorite, but I'm pretty sure it's sort of close. I'm gonna see if I can bring this up.
Well, I mean, it's always been close. Hughes is a American player, and then and it's most likely Hughes, but it's been practically a coin toss between them two for the most part, and that's what will end up being in the draft. But it's most of the talk has been around Hughes.
So, honestly, like a month ago, like, would you have predicted that Kyler Murray would have gone number 1 overall? Like, probably not.
I mean, the only reason he went number 1 overall was because of the coach, though. Like, a new coach coming in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, the odds for the draft is Hughes is -500 and Capo Kakko is +300. So
that's close.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know exactly what it was, but I just seen like Hughes just broke some record for like the U18 U.S. hockey team. So I mean, I know he's playing well.
He's nasty player, dude.
He's a
nasty player.
I can't see with all the hype he's gotten, that he would not be number 1.
Right.
Well, like I said, it's basically between those two. But yeah. We will move on to the other draft that is happening right now, the NFL draft. So the first round was last night. The second round, like I said, is going on now. And some interesting things going on. So obviously,
Hi, New York. How you doing?
Yeah, really. We have to talk about the first pick of the draft that Brendy just mentioned, Kyler Murray. Brendy, I don't want to call you out. However,
I'm ready.
I'm pretty sure on this podcast we were talking about Kyler Murray because I think we were talking about like the college football and him being with Oklahoma and stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure you said he was a 4th round pick at best.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
I will say that the fourth round pick was, that was kind of lowballing him. But number 1 overall, and honestly, I'd still say like not a first rounder.
I we were discussing this earlier. I can't remember. But I think I had him going 13 to the Dolphins with Haskins and Locke going before him. But I don't know for sure. But
That
yeah.
sounds about right.
But like I said just a second ago, I really feel like definitely the only reason that he went to Arizona was because of the coach Kingsbury coming in, because they thought they had their guy that they drafted last year in Josh Rosen, which is going to be an interesting case because where does he go now? I was thinking the two teams I was thinking were the Giants and the Broncos, but they just picked quarterbacks in the draft. So maybe he goes to Oakland as a backup behind Carr there, because they're always out on Carr. Like I don't know. Maybe like Cincinnati or something. The one team that I keep hearing again fucking pisses me off is New England, because he'll go there and then Tom Brady will retire and he'll be the next Tom Brady, and I won't watch football ever again because I'm so frustrated with fucking Patriots. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know, man. I said Kyler Murray is a difference maker, and I think he's an incredible athlete. Do I think it's so tough, man. Like, I know this is so over talked about, but he is a smaller guy, 5'10", 207. Does that hurt him? Arizona seems to suck every year. Does that hurt him because he's on a really bad team and culture? I don't know. This is a wild card for me. I will say it is very impressive that he got picked in the first round in MLB and the NFL. That's very impressive. Like, however you put it.
I don't know why. Like, okay, so honestly, if I'm in that situation, like I would have to seriously consider whether or not I'd want to go. And you guys might disagree with this, like whether or not like I want to go like to the NFL or the MLB. Quite honestly, I would pretty much be sold on MLB for the most part. The only risk is like being stuck in the minors.
Well, I mean, remember, like it was only until basically the college football playoff where he said that he was going to go to the NFL. For the longest time, the assumption was he was going to go to baseball. And then after that, I think it was like right after that they lost in the playoff to Alabama. He said that he was going to go to football, and it's all come down to here. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying they would rather go to him, like if they were him, they go to the MLB because of the injury concerns in NFL.
Well,
I don't know.
It's not even that for me.
The money, dude.
Yeah.
If he's a star, no salary cap, dude.
All guaranteed money.
Yeah. No, I that would be a thing, but baseball is so tough because I think there would be a chance. I mean, they literally have so many divisions of minor league baseball. Like,
I was about to say, like, just because you get drafted, like, does not mean you're going to the pros. Like, well, I mean, you're going to the pros, but you're not going to the majors.
Like, even if you're a first round pick.
I was just discussing this with my roommate, who was on the show, John. We were talking about how it's a guarantee versus non-guaranteed. The NHL and the MLB have layers of minor leagues. Like, you're in a system for X amount of years before you're even remotely called up. Whereas in the NBA is just finally establishing their G League, and then the NFL still has nothing. So
right. I mean, the minor league system for the NFL is college.
Yeah, exactly. And then the NFL, it's like, okay, you show up to training camp once you get drafted, and you're probably cut within the first week if you're a late pick. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting concept for every individual sport and how it's all done. Like, right. there's a reason why the first, the top 10 picks in, say, the NBA and the NFL are a lot, like, people know the name. They're talking about the news a lot compared to, the NHL. Like, right now, the only talk in the NHL really for their top picks are the two guys competing for the first. Like, that's really it.
So
it's all these international guys.
So quick question with the NHL, like, if a guy gets drafted in the first round, like, does that mean he basically gets a spot on the NHL team, or like does he go to the minors?
Essentially, most of the time, I would say at least top 10.
I was gonna say, like, if you get picked by the Stanley Cup champion, there's a very good chance you're not gonna stay. But
Right.
um,
Yeah,
but
you're in the system.
I would say the top 10, on average, probably 8 out of 10 would go to the NHL roster right away. I mean, I feel
First
like
pick
even
almost
that's, I
always
don't know.
does. Second pick
Yeah,
always does. Flyers got the
yeah.
second pick with Nolan Patrick, and he's been on the. I don't even think he remotely touched the Phantoms. Connor McDavid with the first pick.
I would
And
say that's the top 4 for certain. Almost
yeah,
always.
I probably agree. Maybe top 5.
Yeah, but then I think it's a little shaky. But you know, maybe the thing to him is the only thing I can really think. Like, in my opinion, I think that basically, like, just we were talking about D'Angelo Russell. Like, I think Murray is either going to be a superstar or a bust, and maybe because he has that chance to be a superstar in the NFL, like, I feel like he has a better chance of being a superstar in the NFL than he does in baseball, and maybe
I
that's
agree
what
with that.
attracts it. Maybe that's what attracts it. You know, being that household name and getting endorsements and being the face of a team. I don't know. I mean, that is he. I think it was like the A's offered him like $15 million after he said he was going to go to the draft. That's a lot of money off the start, nonetheless. But that's a lot of money to turn down. And
Yeah,
obviously, I mean, he's going to make he got a nice bonus for being the first pick. But
yeah.
it's a tough call. But yeah, I mean, um, like I said, with Kingsbury coming in and really liking this guy through college, this is basically the reason he went there. And like I said, I think the more important question maybe is what happens with Josh Rosen now, because he obviously is not happy. He thought he was the guy there, and he will be getting moved. Where does he get moved to, though, is going to be the question. And that's also, Josh Rosen is also a guy with a lot of attitude to him. And, like, he's not afraid to speak his mind. And, he'll get he'll get out of there one way or another.
Yep.
The second pick, possibly, he was graded the best player in the draft. They got him at 2. Nick Bosa goes to the 49ers. And I will say, 49ers, look, I mean, they had the second pick in the draft this year for a reason, because they sucked, but they also sucked because Jimmy G went out with a torn ACL. If they can stay healthy, they're looking up. Like, I mean, their team is looking up for sure, in my opinion. I think obviously that's a big if, staying healthy, especially at your major positions like quarterback.
I'm hovering over the hot take button, by the way. I'm waiting for you to finish this thought.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you've seen what happened with Jimmy G. The year he got traded to the 49ers, he didn't lose a game. Like, they finished the season, I think 7-0 or 8-0 or something like that. But I mean, Nick Bosa is going to be a beast.
The heartthrob of San Francisco, Mr. Jimmy G.
But yeah, I mean, I like that pick there. And then number 3, Quinnen Williams, from Alabama going to the Jets. I think, I mean, that pick there was the Jets defense last year showed miles of improvement, and I think this again will help them. Overall rank was the second, and definitely, again, if Kyler Murray wasn't number 1, I think Bosa and Williams would have been the 1 and 2. And they go in order. Ed Oliver was also there for a while as being potential number 1 pick, but he fell a little bit. Number 4, very interesting pick here. So, Clelin Ferrell from Clemson was ranked the 21st overall. He had the 21st overall ranking in the draft and the 3rd of his position at defensive end. He goes 4th to the Raiders. A lot of questions there. Look, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of, obviously, with a number 4 pick, like, in a lot of people's opinion, reaching like that. I don't know about that one. I don't know, but we'll kind of see. He was part of a Clemson defense that was absolutely insane, and he was one of many that basically was going to get drafted out of Clemson. Going number 4 though, kind of crazy. And a lot of people had something to say about that. Devin White goes 5th to LSU. Great player there. A middle linebacker from LSU. I think that's a great pick for the Bucs. And then maybe the mockery. Look, I will say this off the start. Daniel Jones goes to the New York Giants. I hope it works out for him. I really do. The kid's done nothing wrong. However,
Brendy.
Dude, why the hell would the Giants draft Daniel Jones? Like, literally, I'm pretty sure every single mock draft had Daniel Jones going to the Dolphins, which would have been a perfect fit for him. He's going to the Giants. Why?
real quick. I mean, all these rankings, by the way, are from ESPN, but position rank, he was 6th. Overall rank was 59. He goes as the first quarterback off the board.
Well, I was looking at Walter Football, but they kind of had the same thing as well. But what exactly do the Giants need? Well, I do think they needed a quarterback, but I didn't think Daniel Jones was going to be. I thought it was going to be Haskins.
I did too. I think it should have been Haskins.
Yeah, Haskins or Locke, and then of course Locke gets picked by the Broncos in the second round somehow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, not only did Locke fall that far, but fucking Daniel Jones went way before him. A full round before him.
Like you know, like I'm pretty I'm pretty sold on Daniel Jones. I think he could be a really good quarterback in the league, but he's not the best quarterback in this draft. I'm sorry.
It's funny because,
or I guess second best.
So after every player gets picked, obviously they'll have the highlight package and they'll talk good about this guy. The two things they said about Daniel Jones after that pick was that he was a 0-star recruit coming out of high school, and that his sister plays lacrosse.
Hang on. Sorry, I just want to interrupt really quick. Josh Rosen traded to the Dolphins.
Are you serious?
Wait, what?
Josh Rosen is going to be a Dolphin.
Whoa.
So, okay.
Okay.
So, I will say this.
What's your source, Brendan?
Ian Rappaport.
Okay.
That's a pretty goddamn good source.
I would think so. I'm just making sure.
And Schefter just tweeted it out as well.
So,
I realized I realized I was just talking about the Dolphins, but that I promise you that was just a coincidence.
For some reason, as I was mentioning the teams you could go to, I forgot about the Dolphins. But in my head earlier, and I'm not even just saying to say it, in my head earlier, I was thinking that the Dolphins would be the team because out of all the teams, I mean, they literally have nobody right now. So I'm like, they have to pick him up because, they're the only team in the league right now that doesn't have a quarterback, basically. Do you know what the pick was? Was it like
well, they're on the clock right now. Was that for that pick?
That's right.
Well, I'm not entirely sure. The details are still coming out, but what is confirmed now is that he's going to be fun.
I mean, look, good for the Dolphins. I mean, they got a guy who was top. I mean, he was one of the top quarterbacks in a stacked quarterback class last year.
Oh wait, fuck! I forgot to shit.
What?
Okay, we're good.
Josh Rosen to the Dolphins.
We bring in the special news bulletin as Josh Rosen has been traded to the Miami Dolphins. Details to come at 11.
Like I said,
Dateline 922, 426, 2019.
Like I said, I hope it works out for him because I think the Cardinals did him dirty. But either way,
when you skunk for multiple years straight, I mean,
yeah. But no, let's get back to the shit show that is New York Giants.
Let's keep talking about the Giants here.
Giants fans man their own suicide watch because I just don't know how this happened. I know there were the Giants. There's a lot of reports coming out that they really liked him. Here's the thing about the Giants: they had the 6th overall pick. They also had a pick later in the first round, 2 picks later in the first round. By the end of it, you definitely could have grabbed him then. I seen a tweet. I don't know who it was from. It was just from a random account, and they're like, the Knicks, not the Giants, were supposed to select the kid from Duke, and that could not be more true. So yeah, that's I don't know how I feel about that.
For those of you that are not bright, we're talking about Zion.
We are talking about Zion. Next pick, Josh Allen. So this was this fell into the Jaguars' lap. Was the 5th ranked guy from Kentucky who lit it up last year. Interesting fact. and I'm sure you've seen this because it was kind of over the place. A player with the name Josh Allen was selected in the first round by the 7th pick 2 consecutive years in a row. Last year was Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Bills. This year it's Josh Allen, the outside linebacker. Just weird coincidence, but yeah, a great player.
Damn, what a coincidence!
Damn, what a coincidence. Number 8, T.J. Hawkinson, the starting tight end at Iowa. They had 2 great ones last year. Goes there. Ed Oliver goes to the Buffalo Bills, a guy who was at the beginning of the year considered the first pick. And then number 10, which was supposed to be the Broncos pick, but they traded it back, and the Steelers move up and get from Michigan middle linebacker Devin Bush, who I actually would have loved for the Broncos to have because they need a middle linebacker. But yeah, so Steelers move up there. And then kind of going through the rest of this, Jonah Williams, real good offensive tackle from Alabama, goes to the Bengals. I like that pickup there. Another Michigan guy, Rashawn Gary, goes to the Packers. Christian Wilkins to the Dolphins. And we'll round it out here with Chris Lidstrom, a guard, going to the Falcons from Boston College. And in my opinion, the steal of the draft, Dwayne Haskins, 15th overall, to the Redskins. I don't know how he fell that far. I don't. He got past. Obviously, the Cardinals were shit on Kyler Murray, but he got past them. He got past the Giants, the Raiders to some extent, maybe even the Buccaneers with Winston there. I mean, he got past some teams that need a quarterback. The Bengals, maybe even with Dalton, and then the pick right before the Dolphins, or 2 picks before, and the Dolphins, and he goes to the Redskins. And in my opinion, the Redskins they had the best first round because not only did they get him, but they got another guy, Montez Sweat, who it just fell as well. Him because of heart, he has some heart issues, but yeah, I mean they had a great first round. And then my Broncos. So real quick, I just wanted to say my Broncos fell back to 20 and got Noah Fant, who I know a lot of the Broncos fans at the time were pissed off because they thought that was a place they could have got Drew Lock. We got him later. I really like this pickup. The Broncos have not had a reliable tight end since Julius Thomas. When they had their Super Bowl years. This guy is an athletic freak. And like I said, he was the number 2. Iowa had the top 2 rated tight ends, which was crazy. But
sorry,
yeah.
I just wanted to say really quick. You mentioned the Falcons drafting Chris Lindstrom from Boston College. So far, like, I'm not really that sold on him, but I just want to say, like, interesting, really quick. He's like, we're what number are we on? 63 overall right now.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So far, he's the only guard that has been selected in the draft. The only guard. They've had some like offensive linemen, but they've all been either tackles, all been tackles, and I think there's only been one center taken. Or no, okay, there's been 2 centers taken so far. So I don't know. That's a little bit concerning to me, though. That makes me a little concerned because it makes me think that there's not a whole lot of good offensive linemen this draft, which for me as a Falcons fan is pretty concerning because the Falcons have had a very mediocre offensive line with the exception of like Alex Mack at center. So I really have like it. I don't know maybe if teams are just kind of sleeping on guards or what they're doing, but it's we'll have to see how this plays out. But we're on pick 63 and there's only been one guard taken so far. I mean,
I will say he was the best guard, and he was.
Well, I'm sure he was.
I know that doesn't mean much after what you just said, but I mean he is a good pickup. And you know, you can always have offensive linemen. You can never have too much of them.
Well, I
but
probably would have preferred. Well, you are right about that. I will say the Falcons did need a guard, but I thought they were going to wait until later on. But they didn't have any. They don't have any second or third round picks. I don't think, which is kind of unfortunate. So maybe they kind of had to reach a little bit. If they had a second round pick, they may have just waited for him to fall then.
Right, because I'm looking now, and I believe you're correct. Yeah, they do not have a second round pick, and they do not have a third round pick. Yeah, you're right. So they probably had to reach there. By the way, the details on the Josh Rosen trade. The Dolphins gave up a late second round pick for him, which is interesting. Like I said, with him going as high as he did last year. Like I said, I really hope Rosen does well. Got passed on by some teams last year in the draft, and now the situation. I know he's got a chip on his shoulder, and is ready to play. But yeah, let's I just want to wrap up a few things here. Patriots get N'Keal Harry from Arizona State. I really like this guy, and obviously anybody that has Brady thrown to them is going to succeed. But Harry was actually a guy who was regarded as possible top 10 pick at the beginning of the year, second best ranked wide receiver. I'm sure, like I said, and by the way, we didn't mention this on the podcast yet, but I'm pretty sure it happened last week. My man Demaryius Thomas went to the Patriots, and all I gotta say is take care of him. I love that man, and
He's in good company.
And of course, fucking Patriots lose wide receivers, and they stock the shelves right away.
So our current top is obviously we still got Edelman right now, and we got Philip Dorsett, obviously Demaryius Thomas, Matthew Slater, also kind of an underrated guy who's still kind of there, and then of course our current draft pick. So we're more to the offensive machine there.
Yeah, you know what's crazy though? Only one white receiver. Holy shit. I mean, you have to say it. It's the Patriots. My all-time favorite pick of this draft, though, is Rocky Ya-Sin. Goes to the Colts from Temple. Great guy. He's going to work out. And then, like I said, a guy that fell big time, Juwan Taylor, fell to the second round to the Jaguars. Jaguars had a good draft, too, or are having a good draft. Offensive tackle there. Had some knee injuries that is why he fell. But he was the 10th ranked overall and first in his position. And then I guess we'll round it out with the Broncos, who in the second round made a pick at number 41. And then as we actually have the recording that I'm sure will get played at some point, but they picked
not at all.
They picked an offensive tackle, and I wasn't happy about it. And then the pick after, they picked Drew Lock.
After trading up.
After trading up to the pick right after. So I'm like, they have to go there. And they do. And I'm happy about that. Look, I mean, Joe Flacco is not going to be the answer, and he's old. Sorry, Broncos fans, but I mean, he might do better than Case Keenum, but he's not getting us Super Bowl. And you have to get guys. Quarterback is the most important position on the field. So I like this pick. I was thinking that maybe they don't pick a quarterback this year in the hopes that they get one of the better ones next year, but I can't do that. I think you got to just go for it. They could do that. And I guess one last thing. I did mention this in the podcast too, but Greedy Williams falls to the Browns, so the Browns making moves there. But so far a pretty interesting draft, just because with everything going on, a lot of guys, some guys that, like I said, Greedy Williams was another guy that was a highly touted pick in the beginning of the year. He falls to the second round. He was a second-ranked cornerback, and he falls to the second round. That's kind of a big deal, but. We will be watching for the rest of the draft because there's going to be that steal at some point in the later rounds. Just depends on what team gets it. But as for that, we will wrap up that segment, and we will move on to In Case You Missed It with our boy Brendy.
Boy, it's hard to move on that easy. I need a breather after experiencing that Josh Rosen trade.
Yeah.
But we'll try to make this quick.
We're
So
officially into round 3, by the way.
yep. So I want to be clear with what I'm about to say. Okay.
Uh-oh. You have to have a disclaimer. I'm fucking scared now.
Okay. No, it's not bad.
All right.
Okay. It's about it's about Avengers. I'm not going to spoil anything though.
Okay.
I promise.
All right.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Cool.
Okay. So, as you guys know, Avengers Endgame came out yesterday. It's like a really long, like 3-hour movie, right? Something like that. So crazy long. And what do you guys plan on seeing it?
Yes.
I do not know. I wouldn't mind saying it, but I've never really been into Avengers that much. I know it's a shock to people, but
I might
Alright.
be seeing it on Tuesday.
Bobby, when do you plan on seeing it?
Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay. So I'm going to warn you guys. If you're going to go see Avengers Endgame, do not, and I repeat, do not go to LaShawn McCoy's Twitter.
yes.
Oh, is he spoiling?
Oh yeah.
He
No
basically spoiled the entire movie.
Wow. Why?
So I'm not going to link the
Fuck
tweet so
shady.
that you guys don't have to read it, but I am telling you, stay off of his Twitter because he spoiled the whole movie.
Was he live tweeting it or something? Like, what the fuck?
He was basically saying like how he was really upset because something happened. Not going to
He
say
was
what.
upset because something happened? Okay.
Yes.
So it was spoiled for you?
Well, I'm not going to watch the movie because I don't care.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I because I heard this on the radio on the way home from work, and I'm like,
On the what?
on the radio.
Okay.
Do I need to spell it out for you?
Ty, did you hear what I heard or no?
No.
All right, never mind.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right, never mind. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I heard this on the radio, and I was like, LaShawn McCoy just spoiled the whole movie. So like, I went on his Twitter, and I'm like, fuck yeah, he did. So
this motherfucker obviously doesn't pay attention.
So I guess why the hell would anyone do this? Like, spoiling like a really like huge movie like this is like probably the 11th commandment.
Well,
in my
okay.
opinion.
So I can see why. So okay, if he was going on and saying, "Oh guys, by the way, this happened," that's one thing, and that's fucking stupid. If he's just trying to have a conversation about the movie in general, then I can kind of understand, because that's why I'm being very, very careful on social media right now, because I know people are talking about it, and that's fine. I have no problem with people going on Twitter, Reddit, whatever, and talking about the film with spoilers. That's what the forums are for.
Yeah.
But if you're just going on to be like, "Oh, by the way, this happened," then you're an asshole. So
Yeah, and I
LaShawn
just
McCoy, a guy with, I'm sure, thousands of followers, if not 1 million, I'm sure is not even remotely trying to have a conversation with anybody. So,
and I just want to be clear. Like, this is a confirmed spoiler. Like, my girlfriend did confirm this. So
did she see the movie?
She saw the movie. And she saw the movie last night at like 9:00 in a packed theater. So
wow.
So she saw it and she confirmed to me that it is indeed a spoiler. So I'm warning, and he has not deleted the tweets, by the way. Like, they're still up, and you can go check.
I don't even think I follow him. So.
I haven't looked at him, but I did see this on like Twitter moments and something like that. And like, from what I've seen, and I could be totally wrong, I think it was like he was basically voicing his opinion, but a lot of people took it that he was trying to be an asshole to like spoil it, because like what he was saying.
Well,
I don't
basically
know.
Okay, so like the thing that he spoiled, he tweeted about it 3 times, and
but like, what was the wording?
He even made a video. Well, okay, if I say the wording, it's kind of going to spoil it.
No, I know. Don't. But like, tell us. So was it just being like, "Oh, hey, this happened," or was he like, "Holy crap, I can't believe it"? Like, because those are 2 different things.
He was like in shock that something happened.
Okay, I mean, that's a little bit forgivable, but
Yeah.
It's borderline, because like I said, it's one thing if you're just somebody on Twitter trying to have a conversation about the film, that's fine. But you're LaShawn McCoy, you're not really talking with anybody who doesn't have at least $500,000 in the bank. So, I I doubt that's what he was trying to do. So I don't really know what his intentions were. I'll try to give him the benefit of the doubt here. But this is for anybody who's watching now. By the time this goes up, it'll probably be 3 days after Endgame launch. Please don't spoil, man. Like, come on. Like, this is
give it a week.
Literally it. Like, give us a couple of weeks. I think I'm trying to see it on Tuesday. I'm not quite sure yet. I got to confirm a couple things, but I think I'm going to see it on Tuesday. I am super excited. I really, really wish it would not be spoiled for me. Please and thank you.
Tyler, do you know like what I'm referring to that is spoiled?
I think,
or did you like stop short of reading it?
I think I did. Like I said, I don't plan on watching it. I didn't read his tweets, but I've seen other people spoiling it, so I think I know at least. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know. And look, you can have it. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong.
If you don't plan on seeing the movie, then I guess you can go on his Twitter and see what he tweeted out. But for everyone else, stay off until you watch the movie.
I mean, this should be a general warning for everybody who is really excited and wants to go see Endgame. You really have to tread lightly on Twitter, okay? For the most part, I've been pretty clean because, one, most of the people like I follow, like friends and stuff, they get it, so they really won't say anything. Most of the news sites that I follow, like Movie News and everything else, they're usually pretty good because what ends up happening is they end up just linking to an article. And I don't have to open the article. So, but if you're looking for like general reactions and stuff like that, like you're searching #Endgame or something like that, you're in trouble. Now you're asking for it. So if you are on social media of any kind, be careful. Maybe even take some time off until you've seen the film. So be careful out there. And yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. I know I'm the only movie buff here, but yeah.
I'm on his Twitter now, and I'm like there's a video of him like talking about it, and there's just a guy in a bucket hat in the background, and like looking through his rear view mirror, and I don't know if it's a friend of his or something, but yeah.
Well, he said he went to go see the movie with his. So was it his son?
I don't know.
But yeah, well, that's anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm watching the video now. Yeah, that looks like some random dude, honestly.
But
because he tweeted out a video of him talking about the movie.
About it.
Yeah, well, it and like just the movie in general, and like he's in the car with his son, and then there's like a random dude like in the back of his car, just like blankly staring into the camera. So that's. I mean,
yeah, I will not be visiting his Twitter. So
yeah, just stay off. That's all.
Yep, I'm good. Thanks for the warning. I actually appreciate. I don't even think I follow him, but I might. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's like so like you may want to mute him. Like, okay, I will say if you go to his page and mute him, as long as you don't scroll down, you should be fine.
Oh, by the way, reminder, in case you didn't know on Twitter, you can mute certain words that any tweet containing those words you do not see while you are signed in on Twitter. So you can literally mute Avengers Endgame or anything like that. Just for or Thanos asshole, in case you heard about that one. So.
Yeah. So I am gonna go ahead and mute LaShawn McCoy just for the moment in case any of you guys do go on the Twitter.
I would just hope that you don't retweet his stuff on the Come Play account.
Oh, I never would.
Oh my god, you'd be putting us out of business already.
We're already all right. All right, let's move on.
Wow, non-profit.
All right, so more gaming news, boys. As you guys may have heard, PlayStation 5 has been announced.
Yes, you know what? I completely missed this.
So I don't know exactly like what I guess you could consider it Gen 5, but I don't know if it goes beyond that. But essentially, I'll just call it Gen 5 consoles.
It
or
is
whatever.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean,
I guess I'm also thinking of the whole Xbox and PlayStation Wars.
Xbox
and all
is
that.
special. PlayStation actually kept it numeric, so
it's like Battlefield.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
All right, so PlayStation 5 has been announced last week by lead system architect Mark Cerny. This is according to GameSpot Way. Sony has now officially confirmed it as the next generation console. In the company's latest earning reports, Sony said its gaming division experienced an increase in development expenses for the next gen console. But that's really all they had to say about it. Now, so that basically says, yes, it is coming. We don't know when it's coming.
We're getting there.
But the thing is I wonder why they're announcing it this like right now, because the PlayStation 4 like it's doing quite quite good right now.
So, yeah.
So I guess it's like, why would they need to spend all this money to make a next gen console when what they're doing right now with PlayStation 4 seems to be making just as much money.
I mean, the thing about it though is like I didn't even realize this till I looked it up. I'm pretty sure PS4 and Xbox One are coming up on either 6 or 7 years being old, and
Are they
like that's
actually?
yeah, and that's essentially
Sheesh.
that's the lifestyle. Because I want to say I was in ninth grade when I got the Xbox One, which would be
I got it like a month or two after it
2013.
came out.
2013, so 6, and it's when the PS5 comes out. It's going to be about 7 years. So I
Shout
will
out the
say,
Xbox One for being the first console I ever bought my own money.
it kind of made me sad though when that whole thing about PS5 came out, because I'm like, that means the Xbox is going to make one, and that means soon enough that the new one's going to come out, and they're going to stop
Actually,
making old ones, and then I'm not like, I don't know if I'm going to buy the new one. Like, I don't know. I mean, I
well,
probably
actually,
will.
are they though? Because Microsoft has for a lot of their other things, especially Windows 10, like they've been going the route of we're going to make one thing and then just keep updating it forever. So I wonder at that point if they might do something a little bit different this time around. I don't know. It's strange. I mean, the first thing that has to happen, and definitely what PS5 is going to do first is, I mean, and Xbox kind of already did it, and I think PS4 did too, is really optimize 4K gaming finally, since 4K is finally becoming the norm. It's still got a while to go, so I'm not surprised that the PS5 is still going to be at least a couple of years from now, or maybe even a year or so. So that's not surprising to me at all. But I really don't know what else really needs to be in there besides that, and besides an operating system update. I really don't quite know. That's just me though.
Yeah, I forget what the actual term is, but they were talking about like lighting for the games would be better. Like I said,
I think they're talking about dynamic range, which has to do with like contrast settings, basically. Is what that
to be honest, I don't know. I was watching like a video, and I can't really remember what it was, but basically like they were playing Minecraft like on this like it wasn't the PS5, but they were basically saying like what's going to be in the PS5 is basically something you can get on like a computer and stuff like that. Like I said, I don't know tech terms, so I don't know. But sorry,
I like how it took 5 generations for that to happen.
Well, I was just gonna say, basically, it was just like showing Minecraft and like the lighting and the contrast. It probably was that because they were like doing the contrast, and it honestly, like part of it was Minecraft, and with the lighting, part of it almost looked real. Like it was kind of crazy.
Is Minecraft out for their PlayStation? I didn't think they were.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they weren't showing it on the PlayStation. It was somebody playing Minecraft on a laptop or like a computer that has the same lighting settings that would be on the PS5.
Interesting. Okay. I was gonna say, because Minecraft's a Microsoft exclusive. I mean, look, you're still not gonna be able to mod Minecraft or fucking get texture packs that make Minecraft more real. You ever seen those? Those are freaking nice.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for I've been an Xbox guy for quite a while now, so I'm waiting for what Microsoft has to say about it before I begin planning on which console I'm gonna end up getting. I mean, unless Brendy, you brought this up before when we started talking about it in our Discord, how I almost went with the PS4 once that gen console were coming out, because at the time the Xbox One was doing stupid things. The main thing that I hated was the whole trading aspect that they put in originally, which was beyond fucking stupid. But once they kind of figured out, oh hey, we shouldn't be doing that, I was okay buying the Xbox One, and I don't regret that purchase. So
I feel like just majority of people always go with Xbox. Like your friends always go with Xbox, you go with Xbox. I mean, I will say I'm fortunate enough to have both, and
it has more to do with the fact that like it's like what we grew up with, so it's like we want to, we're loyal to the base,
Well, that's the thing. You say that, but that's not entirely true for me, because I had the PlayStation 1 was my first ever system that I ever had, followed by the original Xbox, then the PlayStation 2, and then the Xbox 360. And then
I'm kind of the same way. The reason, so like I was a PS1, PS2 kid, but it was Zach that actually introduced me to the Xbox 360 because I thought the 360, or sorry, the original Xbox actually. Correction. I thought the original Xbox had better games than the PlayStation 2 did at the time. Thinking back, I'm like, I probably had better memories on the PS2.
You could play Halo.
Well, he didn't have Halo, but he did have James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
And I got really hooked on a James Bond, so I was like, dude, like I got to make the switch and like got to play with him. Being like a 8 or 9-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
And right around that time is like when the 360 started coming out. And Zach got an Xbox 360, and then I got my 360 like maybe a year later.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I had a 360, but I didn't have live until like maybe like 8 or 9 months afterwards because my mom wouldn't want to do it. Well, I mean, okay, think about what it was like back then. The whole internet. Having to. You don't want strangers to come and mess with you and stuff like that.
Especially at like a young age. Like I was like that. Yeah. So I know it took. I don't remember how long it took, but like I had the 360 well before I had live. Like I know that for sure.
I mean, I was playing PlayStation 2 online, which was a completely different fucking experience. In case anybody didn't know,
lie to you, I did not know PS2 had online.
Oh yeah,
and I had a PS2.
So did the original Xbox. I never had online for the original Xbox. For the PlayStation 2, I did because I got the NHL 2Ks every year. So and oh my god, was it fucking atrocious. So this is how the online experience, at least with NHL on PlayStation 2, used to be. It would always be you go into lobbies. Like think of like AIM chat rooms is the best way I can explain this. So think of that. That's what you would have to really enter to find a game. And once you go in there, it's like a fucking cesspool. And then you're like, okay, search matchmaking. And they get matched up. And then you get put into another lobby. And there's like you're waiting for the game to start, which takes like a couple of minutes. And there's another chat room. And I would get cursed off constantly. I remember one specifically where I played as the Flyers and I got fucking manhandled by somebody. I don't even remember what team they were playing as. We go back in the chat. It takes us back to the chat room, by the way, like to the game lobby. And he's talking a bunch of shit about the Flyers. And I go, and this was right after we signed fucking Pronger. So I literally said, can you say Pronger? And he goes, can you say fuck off? And left. Like, that was my experience with the PlayStation 2 online. And then once I got the 360, the first thing I did was make sure I got live, and my dad helped me with that. And then it was, for me and my parents, it was, okay, look, yeah, you can play online, just don't be a fucking idiot. So, play with your friends, but don't worry about it. I think the first game I put in was Halo 3, and I played with you and a buddy we used to play hockey with.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back. And I can honestly say, like, it might have. It was a long ass time, I feel like, before I had live. I want to say like a few years, but that might be off. But
yeah.
Anyway, no, I mean, look, it's going back to like the original thing. Like I said, it is kind of a little sad that because like I said, I feel like the Xbox One, it's been out for in terms of tech life a while now, but like I still feel like it's new and stuff like that, and I feel like soon enough, both systems are going to be replaced. But that's just the way it works, and it'll obviously get bigger and better. But with that, you're buying a whole new $400-$500 system.
I will hope by the time that they get released, I'll be making a career of myself at that point.
Like, honestly though, like what do you think the starting price point is? Like,
it's got to be $400.
I was gonna say 500, like $499.
I was gonna say $599. I feel like
depends.
It'd be that much.
It really depends. Well, here's the thing. I feel like because a lot of people are getting computers now, they have to make it somewhat competitive.
True. Yeah.
So they might end up lowering the price a little. But I mean, I'm no businessman, but I would think they have to stay a little bit competitive. So somewhere between 4 and 5 would probably be a decent price. And if that includes 4K gaming, which is still not totally optimized on PC yet, they might be able to steal some sales pretty easily.
Yeah,
that's the way I think about it.
That's the point. Yeah, I don't think about it, but yeah, I don't know. Look, I guess looking forward to the next gen consoles, but at the same time, a little sad just because.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. This won't be as difficult a decision, I feel like, this time, because I went with the Xbox One last time because I mean we had a huge friend group, me and Tyler did, on the 360. I mean, and Brendy as well, but I mean a lot of our home friends that we had. So we were only a couple people on the PlayStation, so we chose.
Keep
the Xbox
in mind,
One.
I did not know Tyler back then.
No, he did not.
No.
I think you played with him once on Black Ops 2 competitive, but that was about it.
Right.
Anyway, so we had a lot of friends on the Xbox, so everybody bought the Xbox, and then everything died. Like, because of the party system not being totally what it is, and just I don't know.
Dude, the parties when the console was first released, the parties were so awful.
Yeah, they were.
At this point, I've talked to more Georgians on Xbox Live than New Jerseyans.
If you could, quite honestly, if you could connect to a party back then, like, you better not leave because you're not getting back in.
Yeah, really.
Oh my god! And my favorite was like whenever it'd be like, "Oh, I can't connect to him because he's the host."
Yep.
Like, oh my god.
And that's still kind of an issue. Sometimes, like, it's not as bad.
Well, I mean, I'm just dealing with internet issues over at college because they have certain ports blocked. I can't even go into party chats here through my PC like I usually can.
Come on, D3 college, come on,
dude. I mean, listen, the internet is pretty decent for a D3 school, but the fact that I could never play World War II, nor could I get into an Xbox party, that frustrated me too. I asked about that one, and they gave me this whole long-winded answer about, oh, we block certain ports for certain reasons. If a game uses ports, I'm sorry, you're fucked, kind of thing. So, but with this, it seems to be the same because, I mean, you guys saw it. I mean, I use the Xbox app because I have everything routed to a soundboard now, and it would work back home, but when I'm here, it doesn't. It kicks me out after a minute, and it doesn't make any sense. It's like it thinks about it, and it's like, nah, I don't want you here. Leave.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but cool. Good to start hearing some news about next gen. It means we'll have a lot to talk about in the next few months, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it's exciting. But let's go.
Lots of rumors. Be careful out there. It's going to be a fucking cesspool.
Yep.
All right, and now we're going to move on to the NHL segment. Zach will be joining us on the show, me and Bobby, and we will talk about the first round of the playoffs and preview the second round. So that is coming up right now. All right, and now we jump into the NHL portion of the podcast. A lot to talk about here. Probably one of the craziest rounds of NHL playoffs, maybe ever.
And this is just the first fucking round.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we had all the division leaders out in the first round. You had all the wild cards going through. Like I said, the craziest podcast the craziest podcast.
The craziest podcast.
Craziest podcast you ever been on.
One of the craziest podcasts.
Craziest playoffs ever. But let's start with probably the most surprising. Definitely the most surprising, actually. Columbus Blue Jackets sweep the Tampa Bay Lightning after a historic season. After falling down 3-0 in Game 1 as well.
Dude, that is a giant shit stain on that record. Like,
oh my god, yeah. The President's Trophy don't mean shit. I mean,
yeah, I mean it's at that point. I mean, like the season they had. I mean, they had what 6? I think they had 63 wins or something like that.
Yeah,
and then you go out on 4. Come on.
Forget the fucking record in the President's Trophy for a second. I mean, their offense was playmaker city. I mean, fucking Christ, that passing is like inhuman. Like, it's the type of shit you would expect from like a superstar like AI in NHL. Like that, it was stupid. It was stupid. Like it wasn't fair. I cannot believe this happened. I really can't.
Clearly, it was pretty fair.
God.
I mean, like I said, one of the craziest things. I mean,
cheap code.
Let's start off, like I said, with Game 1 because I remember, kind of looking at the score for this game. I wasn't watching it, but I was just watching, keep an eye on the score, and I see like 3-0 Tampa, and I think it was after the first period, if I'm not mistaken. I'm like, okay, so this is gonna be that kind of series. And then like I think I was like playing Xbox or something, and then like I look back at the score and it's 4-3 in the third period. Like what the fuck just happened? And then that kind of was how the series went. Game 2, Columbus blew out Tampa, and Game 3, 3-1 win, and the fourth putting up a 7 spot. Like I said, one of the let me put this out there. Columbus is the wild card team, but they're also a team that got stacked at the trade deadline. And had they had this roster for the whole year, maybe could have gotten the second or third seed in the division. But I mean, what they did to Tampa, nobody should have been able to sweep Tampa. And this happens. And my favorite thing now, by the way, is that tweet that they put out. That's being memed now. It's like now I'm like forgetting it, of course. Now that I say it,
apologizing for getting swept.
it was exactly that. It was like we know you're not happy. Like I forget exactly what it was. Like I said, but
Go ahead and find that real quick. I want to read it out.
I was gonna say, but if Bobby can find that real quick,
I'm looking already. Yeah, give me a sec.
Like I said, it's been memed the fuck out of. Like every team that's lost since Tampa has put that out. Like their fans have put that out after. But like I said, Tampa. There's no other way to put it than they should just be disappointed in themselves, because you can't have a season like that and then get swept. By a while.
So this is the one you're talking about, right? We don't have any words, and we know you don't want to hear them. That one.
Yeah, that one.
So, tweet at 9:56 p.m. on April 16th. We don't have any words, and we know you don't want to hear them. We understand your anger, your frustration, your sad. This is like the Breakfast Club right here. We understand your anger, your frustration, your sadness, everything you're feeling. We get it. This isn't the ending we imagined. It's certainly not the one we wanted. Thank you for being there the entire way. I like what some of the responses that's coming from Sports Illustrated. They put up some of the responses, and someone said, I mean, honestly, you could have just written, I'm sorry, I can't, don't hate me on a Post-it note, and it would have communicated the same vibe.
Yeah, that is honestly, like I said, my favorite. My favorite.
Can the Giants just retweet this for the Odell trade, or how does it work? Love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. But yeah, like I said, a series that you would not expect to happen. I mean, right off the bat, you look at the stats. Andrei Vasilevsky, a Vezina candidate, with
Coach Cooper. I don't feel so good.
Vasilevsky with the .856 save percentage in that series after the Vezina like season, and that kind of summed it up for them. And their points leader for that series was I don't even know how to say this guy's name. I forget now. I think it's Eric Cernak or something like that. He's a defenseman. He led the team with 3 points. So that just says how it is with a team that they have. It's unacceptable.
Yeah.
Question: is this the? I don't know. I guess the biggest series choke job in hockey, like all time. Because I think it is.
Yeah.
God damn! What the
fuck? You just kill a dog? You fucking sack of shit!
What is wrong with you? Like,
I heard a squeak, and I just not the good things happening over there.
I didn't even move, and my dog just freaked out, dude.
You That's what they all say.
That's
fucker.
We're going right through that, boys.
God, apologize. We need to cut that out.
No. We're going with it. Let's go.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Brendy. Let's go to the next series, which was also a sweep. The New York Islanders silencing a lot of critics with a sweep over the playoff Penguins team that has been very successful for a lot of years. And they just manhandled them.
Mm-hmm.
After, I mean, we talked about the Islanders. It was a while ago, but we were talking about how good the season was for them.
Yeah,
it was me and Bobby on the podcast, and just obviously everybody's saying after they lost Tavares this offseason that they were going to be down there with Ottawa. I think I even predicted that I think I said they were going to be second worst in the East, and what they've done this year, especially a really good feel good story. Robin Lehner, the goaltender for the Islanders, it's well documented that last year when he was on the Sabres and throughout his career, he was dealing with some mental health issues, alcohol abuse, stuff like that, and the Islanders gave him a chance, and he is playing out of his mind, and he has all year. His current save percentage is .958 in the playoffs, and just an incredible season for him in the regular season as well. But yeah, the Islanders are extremely great defensive team, and they showed it this series. Pittsburgh only scored 6 goals in 4 games, and that was you're not going to win a series like that. Yeah, I just like I said, I mean, I don't think anybody expected this. I think well, I shouldn't say that because they were the higher seed, but I think a lot of people did have the Penguins winning just on the merits of the past and how they did in the playoffs. But yeah, that's a hell of a job by the Islanders for sure.
That fucking pens are falling, and I can't fucking wait.
Yeah, I mean, this can talk about another time, but as the Penguins playoff I was gonna say Stanley Cup window, which is hard to say since they won 2 cups recently, but this is just the end of an era with them. You got Phil Kessel potentially leaving over the summer. Obviously you're gonna have Crosby and Malkin there forever, but some questions on the blue line and. Matt Murray having an up and down season. I know he's dealing with injuries through a lot of it, but you see what Fleury has done with the Knights, and obviously, at the time of the expansion draft, Fleury was much older, and Murray has got you 2 cups by that point. But it is interesting because like I said, what Fleury is doing with Vegas, but. Yeah, it's like I said, great series for the Islanders. And as we record, they are in a series now with the Hurricanes. And the Hurricanes, they take game 1, but you would think that that's going to be a very defensive series and one that they could potentially win. And then you see potentially seeing the Islanders in the conference finals after the offseason they had would be absolutely insane. But yeah, that is for that. The next
see you,
series,
Pens, you fuckface.
the next series, the defending champions out in a Game 7 overtime
out
victory.
against a team that has not made the playoffs in 10 years.
So the first question I gotta ask is,
do you feel the fucking storm coming?
And I know we kind of talked about this off the show, but like. The Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup final. Like, does Don Cherry just like? I mean,
he dies. He finally has a heart attack and dies. He finally that's it. It's over. He's gonna fucking lay himself out.
He's an older guy. I don't want to say it like that. Don Cherry's like 80.
Yeah,
90.
I know. I'm being sarcastic there, bud.
I know, but I was putting the
85.
I was putting the point across that I don't want to be morbid because I mean this man could drop dead any fucking day. But hey, if the Hurricanes won the final, God man, obviously what we're referring to is Cherry calling them a bunch of jerks.
I need to get that sound clip.
Yeah, but you know what? Like how they've embraced it this year is really awesome and great series. One that was back and forth. You had the home team winning every game up until Game 7, and you had some close games and then not some blowouts. There was a 5-0 game and a 6-0 game in there, but pretty good series. I got one question I gotta ask, and this is kind of unrelated, but the Caps have had before last year were considered with the Sharks like one of the teams in the NHL that always choked. And after I seen, after they were eliminated, you got the people on Twitter that like, oh guys, it's okay, like we won last year. How do we feel about that? Because like I'm like every year is a different year. You gotta go in, and your goal is to win the Stanley Cup. or a championship for any sport. Like I don't like that. Like I just want to. I know it's kind of off tangent, but I just wanted to see your opinion on it.
Well, it's just not as special this time around. Is usually the thing, right? Ovi finally got his cup, so there's really not much of a story with here comes the good team again. You know what I mean? Like to me, I know it's a constant comparison between Ovi and Crosby having multiple Stanley Cups, Ovi having one, but to me it doesn't matter. Ovi's legacy is cemented. It doesn't matter if he gets more. It's just icing on the cake at this point. I would love to see him get more. I mean, the dude's a generational talent that you're never going to see ever again. But at this point, the big story right now is Carolina. So I'm sure everybody's rooting for Carolina this time around. So that's just the kind of the fan mob mentality. I do have to say, Caps are going to be in an interesting situation next year and next couple seasons. So Braden Holtby is now going to be a UFA, along with, I believe, who else? Alex Ovechkin's got a couple years on his contract, but he's going to resign unless the Olympics. So,
well, that's true.
So there's a couple things. We talked about this previously with Ovi wanting to play in the Olympics and the NHL still not letting that happen. So it sounds like he'll go back to Russia if they don't allow the Olympics at any point. But there's a lot of contracts that are up and are coming up. So going to be interesting. Braden Holtby is especially the big one. I don't think he would really go anywhere. Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
No, I mean he's the guy there.
I think we're paying out the ass for him though. I mean he's already making 6.1. So
yeah, he'll be. If I would say he would probably be around 8 on the next contract. Maybe
he's about to be 30 years old, so he's still got some time left.
Yeah, but Alex Ovechkin with a pretty good shrug in the first round, 9 points in obviously 7 games, and still showing it, like we mentioned, one of the greatest goal scorers of ever. But yeah, some questions there for sure. And as for Carolina, look, I mean, this was a team that has been on the fringe of playoffs for a long time, and finally, get in and look what they do. They upset the first seed. So yeah, good for them, and we'll see what happens in this next series with the Islanders. And we will finish off the Eastern Conference with the Toronto Maple Leafs and Boston Bruins. Man, I feel so bad for Toronto.
I'm pissed about this one. I'm really mad about this one.
Yeah, like it's this is now 3 times now that the Bruins have eliminated the Maple Leafs in Game 7. This is the 3rd straight year that they've been eliminated. Or I'm sorry, that's not true. They lost to Washington 2 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that was Game 6. But regardless, I mean, they've had some heartbreak, and they just can't get past this giant in Boston. And now you'd have to say, at least in my opinion, Boston is now one of the favorites, especially with the East being the way it is. Again, not taking anything away from the other teams, but I mean, the East now is Boston, Columbus, Carolina, and the Islanders. You would, on paper, they look like the favorite. So it'll be interesting. I know a lot of people still, especially with the antics in the second round, still upset with the dirty play of the Bruins in a couple situations. Marchand always obviously in that, and even Chara was involved in some stuff Game 7. But yeah,
Chara's
this is
been quite an asshole.
Yeah, he was not taking shit Game 7.
No.
But no, I mean this was again a very physical series, and man, the Leafs in Game 7 just seemed to fall apart. Freddie Anderson had an amazing year and amazing playoffs, and let in a few they were off turnovers, so give it that, but questionable goals. And Jake Gardner last year, the player for the Maple Leafs that everybody basically shunned, I think he was a -5 in that game last year. Another poor performance from him in this Game 7. And he's coming up on a UFA and will probably not be there next year. So very interesting there. Tuukka Rask had a very good Game 7. He was very solid and just a good playoffs for him overall. But but yeah, not really.
Yeah, it's Boston. It's what you expect. They're they're the team that's like they always come in a strong favorite. I still don't think they're good. They're going to be taking it all home this year, but they're always that teams like you kind of expect these kind of wins out of them and these kind of series out of them, like the rough and tough kind of freaking skin of their teeth type of BS. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of questions being asked of Mike Babcock. There was a lot of stuff being said about him because Austin Matthews, arguably your best player on that team, only got 20 something. I think it was like 20 minutes or 22 minutes in a game 7 where they were trailing. And there's a lot of questions about that. And obviously there's going to be a lot of questions after again this heartbreak. I think one thing that needs to be considered in this series for the second year in a row is the actions of Nazem Kadri. So getting him so suspended for the whole series, and he's a very good third line center. And I'm not saying that was the make or break point of this series, but this is the second year in a row where he's got himself suspended in a playoff series with the Bruins, and his temper just being a problem. So maybe there will be turnover, I think, with the Maple Leafs because now all these guys that have been superstars, young superstars, are now coming off their entry-level contracts and need to get paid. Mitch Marner being one of those guys. So somebody's got to leave because the salary cap is not going to handle all that. So, like I said, a lot there. Marner is definitely staying, but it's the other players, which, like, a guy that I think a lot of teams would like, Kasperi Kapanen, son of Sammy Kapanen, Flyer, former Flyer. He's a really speedy guy and a guy that a lot of teams would love to have, and he might be on the move. You got just a lot. Again, that whole team is so young, so eventually they're going to have to get paid, and that'll be coming up. But again, like I said, heartbreak for the Leafs, and I feel bad, for the Leafs fans because and I will say they give a lot of shit out to other fans, but they've been getting us a lot of shit too. So disappointing for them, but they will obviously be a favorite next year, and hopefully they can put the pieces together sometime soon. But we will move to the Western Conference now. We will start with the Dallas Stars, another wildcard team, going through on the Nashville Predators 4-2. Ben Bishop really showing himself this playoffs. Currently, after after the first 2 games of the second series and the first round, he's sitting at a .938 save percentage. And they're getting contributions from everywhere. Their leading goal scorer is as a third liner for them, so they're getting a lot of scoring. For the Preds, this is tough because they were so close just a few years ago, and they loaded up. They got Simmons at the deadline and made a couple moves, but they just cannot get it all together. I mean, it's the same thing as I said with the Lightning. Their leading goal scorer of the series he had 3 goals, but Rocco Grimaldi. I mean, that's a fourth liner. You need your big guys to step up, and it's just tough for them.
So can I ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Are they the new Wild?
Well, in terms of what, like
first round, like every single time they're the strong team, they get into the playoffs, and then they just completely lose it in the first round. Now, the Minnesota Wild have a long reputation because they've done this for so many years, but Nashville's starting to follow that same path, it seems like. So,
I mean, I think this is kind of an overstated thing, but it is true. The NHL is so competitive, and the Nashville Predators were the 1 seed and faced the Stars, and on paper, like stats wise, it was very even. There wasn't much between the teams, and that's the 1 seed versus a wild card. I mean that's a big thing. So I've said this before too. I mean every team in the playoffs has a chance to win. All 16 teams will have a chance to win, and it's unfortunate. for the Preds, but I mean, I'm sure they'll be back next year, right up in there in the Central Division. But
Yep.
yeah, like I said, just one thing I need to mention. Holy shit, what the fuck is the Nashville Predators power play?
Yeah.
I need to find. I forget what it is now. I'm pretty sure they had a 0 power play. They did not score 1 power play goal that series, and I'm pretty sure they had like 23 chances. That's unacceptable. So that's something they struggled with the whole year. They were in the bottom of the league the whole year, and it continued through the playoffs. That was one of the reasons they got Simmons, was like, maybe to help that out, but obviously it didn't. So yeah, like I said, it's a tough pill to swallow. And now for the Stars, they play the Blues, and that series is tied 1-1 going to Dallas, and they got the home ice advantage.
Come
now.
home,
Stars were
Simmers, I
looking
miss you.
Stars were looking absolutely incredible against the Blues today, man. Like
Yeah,
they were not letting them get a single chance.
Dallas
and they were
is
just firing
good,
shots
dude.
on goals.
Dallas is a
Dallas
team
is-
that for like the last few years they've also like been a team that should make the playoffs and haven't. And this year they finally made it. And but they're a team that I could see next year, or maybe even the year after, like either being the 1 or 2 seed in the Central.
Right,
Like it's
them and the
not
Hurricanes are
out.
hungry for something, man.
I mean, look, Dallas has got the big guns and Jamie Benn and Tyler Sagan, and on defense Klingberg. Like they have the team to do it. I would not be
Yeah.
surprised. And they're finally getting Ben Bishop, a guy who is kind of bounced around in his career. He was great in Tampa, and then bounced around after that. He's finally found himself, and goaltending. Speaking as a Sharks fan, I mean, the year that the Sharks got to the finals, Martin Jones carried us there. There's no other way we should have got there, and that's sometimes all you need in the playoffs. So they're a team that I'm definitely looking out for. I will say the Blues also, like, we're at the point of the year where there's only 8 teams left, so it's hard to say this, but like that's a tough matchup for both teams because it's two teams that are extremely hot, had a good end of the year, especially the Blues. But something has to give, so we will see there. But here we go, Zach. Sorry we have to do this to you, but St. Louis goes through 4-2 the series in a. Man, this was a heck of a series. We had the late goal with like 15 seconds left to win that game, and there was a lot of some controversy
A lot
overall.
of controversy.
Well, I say that, and I knew that was coming. But
I remember who we're talking to here.
Yeah, but St. Louis won the first 2 games in Winnipeg, and I'm like, damn, this is I had the Blues advancing, but I did not see them winning the first 2 in Winnipeg, and then Winnipeg comes back and wins
Yeah,
the
and then
2
winning
in
the
St.
second
Louis.
two. Yeah.
So it was just a weird series. And in the end, the home teams didn't fare well. St. Louis with the only home victory in Game 6. So. What's your? I guess I'll just ask a kind of a plain question. I mean, what's your reaction to this after the Winnipeg Jets kind of had I don't want to say a bad run at the end of the season, but they kind of stumbled in a little bit against a hot Blues team, and so what's your reaction to this series?
Well, it seemed like they definitely played well the entire series. I mean, Jordan Binnington was just a fucking incredible goalie during the series.
Yeah.
That tends to happen to the Jets, where we just outshoot, getting great chances the whole series, and they just can't get past the goalie in such certain situations. Like that's been their downfall in the playoffs, at least for the past 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for them, talk about a crazy division. Like the Jets had a chance to be the wild card by the end of the season. They get to the two seed, but that's not an easy. No matchup's going to be easy in the playoffs, granted. But like I said, the Blues were a team that around Christmas were dead last, and they had a unbelievable second half to get to where they are. Easily the hottest team going into the playoffs. And you mentioned Jordan Binnington, a guy who he came out of nowhere for sure. I drafted Jake Allen in fantasy this year, and that was a fucking mistake. This guy is now up for Rookie of the Year. He's one of the finalists for the Calder. Just came out of nowhere, and again, just carried him to the playoffs, and now is doing really well. So it's good for him too, because he was a guy that's been in the system. He was a highly touted prospect for the Blues, but he's been in the system for a while, and it looked like it wasn't going to work out. But here he is, and doing well. But what do you foresee for the Jets next year? Again, in that very good Central Division.
I mean, I think they'll just continue to build. I mean, they've been really looking good the past 3 to 4 seasons. I mean, especially coming out of Atlanta and being able to build a team that can make the playoffs consistently, over a few years. Yeah. I'm happy with it. I think they're definitely a contender for the Cup in the coming years. I mean, they've been playing just incredible. I can't be too upset about the series just because, I mean, St. Louis, like you said, about how Sharks and Vegas was you guys' toughest team. That was St. Louis for us. Like, it was just going to be a tough series, and they came out on top. So
we're a team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's the Blues came in hot, and the Central Division is just absolutely insane. There's no way around it. I mean, there's the 5 teams that made the playoffs are arguably all Cup contenders, and then you have teams that on the outside are looking in. But even if they got in, like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I mean, the Wild have kind of fallen from grace, but like if they got in the playoffs next year after some improvement, I wouldn't, even go past that. But yeah, it's just absolutely. It's just how the playoffs are, man. I mean, it was a really good series, and like I said, a little bit of controversy and a couple late goals helped the Blues go through, but a really good series there. And then going to the Pacific, just what the fuck happened to the Calgary Flames? After a year where, look, I mean, the Flames fans have been frustrated for a long time, and they came out and were the best team in the West, and 4-1 to the Avalanche after winning Game 1 4-0. It's looking good. They lose 4 in a row and lose a series. And poor Mike Smith, this man was left out to dry essentially for this series. Just nothing happening for the Flames against a Colorado team that is in my opinion one of the closest things to modern NHL. A really, really fast team with hot and cold goaltending is how I'd put it. Like, I feel like they had Philip Grubauer came in, and he took over at the second half of the season and got hot. But yeah, I mean, it's it's like I said, tough for the Flames and their fans. Definitely a really good season for them. But
you know what I would say about the Flames? They
got extinguished.
You're absolutely fucking right.
Original.
I mean, that was just too easy. That was
oh my god.
Alley-oop even.
Alley-oop.
But nothing. Wow. Okay. No, nothing much to add here. Because this is actually the one series I didn't get to watch a ton of. But yeah, just a really good series for the Avs, and now they move on to the second round. And
first line.
Yeah. And in my opinion, and I'm not saying this to be biased, but I think I would hope you guys agree. The series of the playoffs so far, San Jose and Vegas.
Wait. Before you start, Ty, I have a little present for you. Hope you're ready. I think you'll enjoy this one. I promise.
Okay.
Okay.
That felt good. that I needed that.
Yeah, I know your fists are in the air. Don't fucking lie to me over there.
So so what a series, huh?
I'm
excited to talk about this one.
I'm pissed. So, I haven't said much because unfortunately I've been busy. I haven't been able to catch too many games, but I was able to catch overtime of this, and I'm so pissed because Tyler's been saying on Discord this whole series, like, oh my god, it's fucking scrappy series of the year, and I just from that overtime, he's absolutely fucking right. Oh my god.
So I would say either this, I would definitely put us ahead. Like this series or the Boston-Toronto series was easily the most feisty. This got fucking like real bad though.
This is playoff hockey.
Yeah, this is the Sharks have been around for 29 years, and Vegas has been around for 2. And the Sharks have had great rivalries with LA and Anaheim, and that everybody thinks the LA Kings and the San Jose Sharks, that's the rivalry there. This is the biggest rivalry the Sharks have right now, easily. It's not even close. In 2 seasons, they have 2 playoff series against each other. And a lot of scrappy games in the regular season. It's not even close, especially now with what we will get to, the controversial call. There's just more fire there. But going through the series, San Jose, first game wins 5-2, looked pretty good. Martin Jones looked solid. He was the big question mark this series because he did not have a good regular season at all. He was below a 900 save percentage for most of the year. But with the way San Jose scores, they somehow got the second seed in the Pacific. And then all hell broke loose. Game 2, 3, and 4 all go to Vegas. And games where Martin Jones could not stop a beach ball. I said this multiple times in Discord chat, but he literally could not stop anything. It felt like every shot Vegas was taking went in. Game 2, they went 5-3. Game 3, 6-3, and Game 4, 5-0. And at that point, I'm like, well, this is another disappointing season. I mean, I should expect this. I'm a Sharks fan. This is bullshit. And then
Have you tried being a Falcons fan?
I have not, but
please do not speak on disappointment. Then.
But I definitely don't want to be a
Boys, this league is a joke.
But Game 5, San Jose comes out, solid game, wins 5-2, and after the game, Tomas Hertl, a young star for the San Jose Sharks, in a post-game interview, he goes, I'm excited because this game will go to Game 7 because we are the better team. So they go to Vegas for Game 6, and in a game where Martin Jones, that was a crazy game. I can't even get it out because that's how good it was. Ends up making 58 saves in a 2-1 win for the Sharks on a goal by Tomas Hertl in double overtime, shorthanded. And from that point on, I'm not gonna lie to you. After that game, I was like, Game 7's ours. No chance we lose that game. It'll be an easy win. I'm like, we got all the momentum. Came back from 3-1. It's 3-3. We're going home. No chance we lose. It didn't exactly work out like that, totally. But in Game 7, the game of the playoffs so far, Vegas jumps out to a 3-0 lead in the game, and it's not looking good. They get a goal early, they get a goal in the second, and a goal in the third. With 3 minutes and 36 seconds into the third period, I won't say a questionable goal, but it was a shot that we needed stopped. And I'm like, at that point, I was so deflated. I was just like, oh God, I just was so angry and frustrated. And then the controversial call, we have face off in the offensive zone, and Cody Eakin steps in to take the draw against Joe Pavelski, and Pavelski wins the draw, and Cody Eakin does something that a lot of guys do when they lose a faceoff. They'll cross-check the guy, like basically in the chest. Like it was, like I don't know why they do it, but it's just something that hockey players do. They'll just cross-check a guy if they lose the faceoff, like a light
Unwritten
tap.
rules.
Yeah, basically. Well, what ends up happening is Pavelski loses his balance, gets hit sideways by Paul Stastny, and falls so awkwardly on the side of his head, and right away you could see from the camera angle that they have the TV broadcast, just blood on the ice. And like
Tyler sent a message. He said, "Oh my god, he's dead."
I
was literally his message.
He was not moving, and they were saying also that he was like kind of seizuring a little bit. I literally thought he was dead, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like I'm not even being like over dramatic. I seen that on the replay and I almost teared up, not because of like it being a shark or something, but it was scary, man. Like,
Yeah, I mean, even
the way he fell, like it shook me.
you could,
like-
I mean, you could go back and watch a replay, and even some of the Vegas players are like, "Yo, this is not good." Like,
Yeah.
you okay?
So what ends up happening is Cody Eakin gets, after discussion by the referee, gets kicked out of the game, 5-minute major. I will say this off the top. As a Sharks fan, was this the right call? Absolutely not. I will say this, though. This is kind of, this has been my thing. 3 things. Number 1, you cannot, I don't care if it was the worst penalty ever, I don't care. You cannot let up 4 goals in 4 minutes. I know everybody's saying that, but it's true. Number 2.
Your PK is supposed to be set for these playoffs, by the way.
Number 2, you were up 3-1. You had a chance to win game 5 and 6, and 7 for that matter. And number 3, which I know a lot of people, Urinating Tree, who we always refer to, mentioned this, which I'm happy he did.
We usually call him God around here.
Game 2, that was the game that Vegas went up 3-0 in the first period, and then San Jose proceeded to score 3 goals by the end of the first period to tie it up. Well, there was a controversial goalie interference call that should not have been goalie interference when the Sharks scored. And not only did they say the goal did not count, they called it a penalty. And within seconds, of course, Vegas scores on the power play. That was a terrible call, and I'm not saying that this I guess I am kind of saying that this justifies it, but look, I mean, it's the playoffs. There's going to be bad calls. You got to fight through it. Like I said, I don't care how bad the penalty is. You cannot let up 4 goals in 4 minutes. I'm sorry.
I mean, that's like 28-3 bad.
That real bad. So
might be worse, honestly.
We have our captain.
I love, by the way, that you're gatekeeping getting blown out. By the way, I just want to point that out, Zach.
Yeah, by the way, so like there's a 7-minute span in game time between the 3rd goal by Vegas and the injury, and like I said, I'm absolutely deflated. I'm at the I want to basically turn off this game, and I'm literally texting the chat, like I'm texting Zach. I'm like I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Don't take that serious, but but I was just very frustrated, and this happens, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, 5-minute penalty, like it still doesn't matter. They're not winning this game. Logan Couture scores 6 seconds in the power play. I'm like, okay, here we go. They come back down the ice. Less than a minute later, Tomas Hertl scores. I'm like, okay, like we've got something going on here. And then a little over 2 minutes later, Logan Couture scores to tie the game. And I've never been on such a roller coaster of emotions. And I'm like, holy shit, they actually tied this game. And then, 28 seconds later, Kevin LeBanc puts them ahead, and I could not believe it. I literally, so I was FaceTiming my girlfriend at this time, and I've said this over and over. I really, really, really wish you recorded it, because I was jumping up in the air yelling, holy fuck, they actually did it. and while then realizing that there is 6 minutes left in the game, and then automatically going into shell shock because now I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm sweating.
Sweating.
But before we move on, I mean, are we all are we all agreeing that that was not the right call? I mean, look, maybe it was a penalty, but not a 5 in a game.
I think the referees panicked.
Well, what
That's
happened?
what I think happened.
I mean, I think it was more nobody seen it, and then they're like, "Oh my God, there's a guy bleeding on the ice," and they
Yeah.
kind of seen part of it, kind of thing. I mean, look, I mean, I know it's overstated as well, but we have the luxury as fans to watch it back in slow motion. It's a fast game, and I'm sure what he's seen was because it was like it was not a vicious cross check in the chest, but like it was like a fast cross check. And like he maybe thought he got him in the face. Like I said, a call that I'm not going to complain about, but
I'm with you. I think it was the wrong call, but it was a scary situation, and I wonder what if there would be any hellfire for not making that call, even though it was. Are we calling that a clean play? Not a 5, not a 5.
Look, I mean, I
give him 2 for cross checking.
Yeah, I think you give him 2. I mean, look, it's a situation where it unfortunately was just a freak thing and it ended in a really bad result. By the way, just to also mention, fucking Vegas fans, there was a goal in this game as well that was by Cody Eakin, of course, that was controversial as well. So like, I'm just thinking about all these things now. The NHL has admitted that this is the wrong call. They actually called George McPhee and basically apologized, which is the worst thing you can do because that gets out on social media and everybody goes bonkers. But and one thing to note as well, and I think this is a little cruel because, like I said, how fast things happen, but that crew who was reffing that game is not reffing in the second round. Basically, they're almost, for lack of a better term, suspended. And we'll basically see if we see them again. But yeah. So I know this is taking a while, but I want to explain this because again, this was a roller coaster of emotions. So
yeah, no.
A minute and a half left. I'm like, holy shit! Oh, like there was, I think it was 3 minutes left. Martin Jones made an incredible windmill save. The place went crazy. I'm like, we're actually gonna do it. And then with 56 or 57 seconds left, Jonathan Marchessault scores, and my heart sunk to my feet.
What a fucking move, by the way.
I almost wanted to cry. like I was like, you've got to be like, you cannot take this away from us. Like what we just did. We go to overtime, and after a double overtime in Game 6, where I was shitting bricks, and especially after what happened, I was spent. I was like I said, my emotions were all over the place. A lot of close chances for both teams throughout it was a really good overtime. A lot of good chances for both teams. Vegas almost scored on a puck that squeaked through Martin Jones and just went wide. But basically to keep the overtime short, Erik Karlsson walks in, catches Vegas. This is defense, flat-footed, gives it to Barclay Goodrow. He makes a sweet move around Marc-Andre Fleury to win the game 5-4. And like I said, that place through that whole comeback and that game-winning goal, I've never, obviously I'm not there, but like hearing it through the TV, that place has never been louder. And it was just insane. Like I said, I didn't even know what to say. I was going crazy. You know, it's funny, like that overtime goal, I was like so exhausted from what happened in the third period. Like I barely, like, not that I barely cheered, but like I was not as excited as I would have been had that not happened, because I was literally like just so nervous the whole time. But hey, man, look, props to Vegas. That this is going to be a rivalry for a long time, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the best in the NHL. It's chippy, it's nasty. Ryan Reeves and Vander Kane had a bout during this round, and you don't really see fights too much in the playoffs. It's nasty, and like I said, you'll never. I don't know if you'll ever see a comeback like that in hockey under those circumstances ever again. I'm glad it was my team that did it, but I feel for you Vegas fans in a sense. I mean, it's a tough.
It's your second year. Grow up.
Yeah, that's like, come on, like every team has gone through this, especially.
Doesn't matter, dude. Blowing a lead like that is fucking.
Yeah, no, it
It
hurts.
doesn't matter what year you're in.
Yeah,
but
it hurts.
like, yeah, I mean, I was so
Vegas!
pissed
I
last
can't
year.
wait till you're in your first rebuild. I can't wait.
I was
like
so pissed
Vegas, but
last
still.
year when they made the finals because I'm like, it is not fair that you've been in this league for 1 year and other teams have gone through fucking everything and they haven't won. Teams haven't even made it to the finals. One thing I did want to mention for Vegas is Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty had a hell of a series for them. Two guys, even Paul Stastny, all three of them. Three guys that they got through free agency last year and trades.
Vegas is still stacked, man. Oh my.
Yeah, they really are. And Mark Stone had 6 goals. Pacioretty had 5, and Mark Stone with 12 points overall, and Pacioretty with 11, which still leads the league right now in terms of points. Good for him. And look, the other thing, it's really, really, really hard to hate Marc-Andre Fleury, but when he's wearing a Vegas jersey, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But I mean, that guy has been through it all. I mean, there was a time in his career where he was known as sort of a choker in the playoffs, but he's an incredible goalie and made some saves at this series that just should not have been made, and did the same thing last year. Like I said, I'm excited for this rivalry. I could see another playoff series next year between these two teams, and I would not be mad because it is some of the best hockey you will watch.
So, first game regular season that these two end up meeting up. You think we're going to see some action right off the bat?
Yeah, probably. By the way, I don't know if you guys seen it, but last night in the game against the Avalanche, the Sharks got a 4-minute penalty and killed it off. And
yep.
The Sharks Twitter tweeted out, "Oh, so you can kill they said something like you can kill a 4-minute penalty," and the replies to that were just,
dude, San Jose is getting a little chippy over there, man. They're gonna have a fucking championship because I bet you they're still being bombarded with Vegas fans being like, "Oh, we would have won if we didn't get that 5-minute major."
For sure.
You lost. And you lost, it was just a miracle moment for San Jose. They fucking rounded everybody up and just fucking killed you. I don't know what else you want.
So the tweet was, "What do you know? You can kill off a four straight minutes of power play time." That tweet had 1,670 replies to it. So a lot of not so happy Knights fans there. But hey, man, like I said, great series. That series took so much out of me. that was. I feel like series.
I feel like that series for you is exactly what the 2012 Flyers and Penguins series was for me.
It really,
the whole the chippy two teams, the close games, even the blowouts and the miracle endings and everything like that. Like I keep saying over and over again, I want that's the Flyers Penn series on DVD. I will watch that over and over and over again. I'm sure you would do the same with this. This is just one of those things.
I've probably rewatched this in the past 3 days 10 plus times. Not even kidding. It's like just watching them, the reaction after the first goal, Logan Couture scores, he goes, "That's one." It's been said that on the bench, Jumbo Joe Thornton said, "Hey, like you guys go out there and get 3 fucking power play goals," was his exact words, and
Yep.
they got 4. So, it's awesome. And like I said, the reaction. I don't know if there's been anything better in San Jose Sharks history. And I know they got to the finals and had some moments there, but this is insane what happened. But one thing I do want to say too is I hope Joe Pavelski is okay. He's listed as day to day, which I think is generous. They said that he had a chance to fracture his skull and thankfully didn't. A guy that we're gonna need if we want to win the cup, but at this point I'm like, take as long as you need to recover because that was scary.
He might be dying to get up and get back on the skates as soon as he possibly can. No, I wouldn't blame him if he did.
And Martin Jones, it was nice to see you in Game 5, 6, and 7. His goals again. I put this in the chat. His goals against, his save percentage went up 0.5 in Game 6 alone.
Oh my god!
But
he's such a weird goalie.
I love him.
I know you love him, but it just looking at numbers for him, he's so odd.
I just even when he was doing bad, I'm just like, I want you to succeed so well. And like the
give him a pound in the ass, tell him to get out there.
The San Jose fans on Twitter are like, whenever he does bad, they let him know about it. Like they are very. There's a lot of Sharks fans that don't like Jones, but he's a quality goaltender. He's just very streaky. But we are going extremely long here, so let's get quickly to the kind of just not a preview per se, but looking at the second round. So we got Columbus and Boston, Hurricanes and Islanders, Dallas Stars and the Blues, and Sharks and Avalanche. As we record, the Boston Bruins, they're actually playing right now against Columbus, and I don't know what the score is.
2-2 going into the third, 12 minutes left.
Okay. So that series is up in the air, but Boston right now 1-0, Carolina 1-0, Sharks 1-0, and St. Louis and the Stars tied 1-1. Any predictions for this? Who do you think goes through from these games? We'll start with the Boston series. I have Boston going through in
I got Boston. I got Boston in 6.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've got the Sharks going through.
I do too. I will say, like I said before, the Avalanche are a really fast team, and that scares me a little bit. But
I think you have more depth than them, though.
We look good. It was visibly like I thought we were going to lose last night because they were visibly tired. And the Avalanche have been sitting for 7 days, and after what just happened with the Sharks, they were tired, but they won. I'm just a little bit concerned about that, but I have the Sharks. In the other game, I have the Blues going through. I think that game has the potential to go to 7. It's so tough though. The Stars look so good too.
I got Stars in 6, but it's going to be a tough 6. Like
I will say, I think that this series right here has the potential to be the best one of this round.
Oh no, I actually got Carolina and Islanders doing that. I'll be honest.
Who do you have in that series? Because I'm undecided.
If Carolina can stay streaky, then I got them going. But if Islanders are just on a whole nother spectrum right now that I can't even pin down why they're good. I really can't. There's always on any team. There's usually always one thing that you can point to for why they're good. There's a reason the Penguins are so good. There's Crosby there. There's the reason Colorado made it this far. It's because of their first fucking line. The only thing I can point to is behind the fucking bench.
I mean, their goaltending, like I said, was
Leonard,
but no, Barry Trotz. How the Caps let him go is beyond me. But
all right, if I'm gonna go for it here, I'm gonna go with Carolina. I'm gonna try and give them the benefit of the doubt here. I want to see them start rolling here, just because I don't wish death upon anybody, but seeing Don Cherry during a Carolina playoff run, but it'll definitely be 7 games.
We all know Zach wants Carolina.
He wants hockey in the South, boy.
Zach's campaigning for the Canes to win the cup.
Yeah,
so.
I want them good old boys to win.
So as the nominee for campaign to win the cup for Carolina, what are you going to bring to the NHL?
What? I like how
Storms.
this is like, Storm Surge. I don't know. For me,
Rednecks.
Are you bringing beer?
I was gonna say shotgunning beer.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Bud Light.
The champagne of beers. You bringing that fucking garbage that you drink?
That would be Miller High Life, sir.
Yeah, I know. I'm still listing off.
I don't know.
Pabst Blue Ribbon is the #1 Southern beer that will be brought into the NHL if the Canes win.
You could just drink out of your own swamp water and you call it the best fucking beer in the South.
That's disgusting.
You ever had Ice House Edge, my friend?
Ice. I don't even think I know what that is. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'll be honest.
It's 8% and it tastes like ass.
You lost me at 8%. So we're good.
If I had a prediction for this series, I'll say Islanders in 7. But that's a tough series there too. But yes, we will be going through as the playoffs go on. We will, of course, be updating you and giving our takes and stuff like that.
Real quick, can we do a quick bracket check?
I would love to.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't said anything yet. I'm like, what the fuck is he gonna say something?
I feel like I was giving it to you a little too much. I didn't want to go.
No, go ahead.
So
I deserve the heat. Give me.
So, me and Bobby are doing a bracket with a few friends. Of our real life friends. Real life, that makes fucking sense. Our close friends.
We do a fucking podcast over the internet.
Yeah. But basically, what I'm trying to say is we're doing a bracket challenge, and Bobby struggled. Struggled so much that he went 0 for 8.
Can I just let me go through my. I mean, obviously, I had the other guy in every single fucking series, but seriously, there's nothing wrong with this fucking bracket except that hockey happened, is what I keep saying.
It's and his final was Tampa Bay, Calgary. I mean, it's the 2 top teams, but you got Winnipeg in the conference finals and Capitals. Like, I had the Capitals in the conference finals. It's not like he was making dumb picks.
No.
Honestly, if you made the correct picks for what happened, I would have said it was dumb picks before it happened. But that's just how the playoffs have been.
This is the type of shit you would roast because, it's just somebody who just threw everybody team in there because they like the Leaf logo, like that kind of bullshit.
I will say our friend picked he picked Columbus to win, and I don't know why he did it.
Did he actually?
He picked the Canes to win.
Oh my god.
He picked that was the 2 teams. He had the Sharks going through, so he's I don't know.
He's special. He's a certain type of special.
But no, look, I mean, that I can't even blame you. It's been absolutely insane. My bracket is doing okay. Of course, I have the Sharks.
Must be nice.
You
know what's funny about you every single year? Because every single year you say the same exact thing, almost word for word. Like, I am gonna try not to be biased, and you end up picking the Sharks anyway. And then you try. I know, and on one hand, I don't blame you, right? But then, my favorite thing is when you make 2 brackets. Like, you have one where it's like, okay, I'm gonna try and get the Sharks out in the conference finals, maybe in 7, by the way, and then. And then the other one's just Sharks win in 4 in every single fucking series. Like,
that is not true. But I will say it is true that I will make 2 brackets and have the Sharks winning and having one where they don't.
You are not good at accepting loss, sir. Good luck in life.
Nope, not at all. I mean, I have 2 of my 4 conference final teams are intact. I have San Jose and the Blues in the conference final. On the other side, I had the Caps and the Lightning, which I'm sure a lot of people had. So I'm not upset about that.
So why don't we do our new bracket here? Like, who we got now? We kind of went through it, but I would say
for me, I would have the same. So I would have the Blues and the Sharks.
Okay.
And then, like, if I really was making a bracket, I would say Boston and Iowa. So I mean, I know it's like they're all the favorites there, and
Mhm.
after what happened in the first round, maybe I shouldn't pick that way. But I really think now we're getting down to it. My Final Four would be that. It would be so fucking weird to see the Iowas in the conference final. Like, I can't get
I
over that.
can't. No, neither can I. And nor do I want them after all the
Or
answers they pulled this year. Or Carolina.
Like, either of them,
Literally-
it's gonna be weird.
Even
Why don't you want
Columbus.
Carolina,
Like,
bro.
I think Boston is the only Eastern Conference team that I'd be like, yeah, I kind of
Yeah,
expected
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Like Columbus would be a little weird. Carolina and New York would definitely be weird. Even the Western Conference, which I mean, I've trashed the Western Conference all season, but like, you wouldn't be a surprise. Neither would Colorado, Dallas, and St. Louis. Maybe I don't know. It's a strange fucking year for hockey, dude. Like, I don't even know how we got here, man. At this point, you're my favorite right now. Like,
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
picking
say,
you guys.
I think the Sharks are.
I think you're
Probably the
statistically the
favorite.
best team. I think
Yeah.
you're statistically the best team.
I mean, honestly, it's going to come down to goaltending again. Like, if Martin Jones continues how he's been playing, I think we're well. But I mean, it could also turn around. But yeah, I would say the right now they're the highest remaining seeds. So if they will have home ice throughout the playoffs now, which will help. But
Zach, what are you doing?
But yeah, what is he doing?
He highlighted the St. Louis Winnipeg series in our rundown sheet, and what is he doing? I thought he was going to delete it just to try and act like it existed.
This never happened.
Nope, fucking nope.
Winnipeg Jets who? I don't know who that is.
Winnipeg who? Go Thrashers.
I mean, hey man, there's always next year.
Yeah,
as every sports fan ever has ever said.
Every time my team gets to the playoffs, I'm like, oh, we'll probably get to the first and second round, but it's probably not going to go well.
They had us in the first half, not going to lie.
That's really funny. All right, let's wrap up because I think our whole show now is looking at like about 3 hours.
That's fine.
I want to give some quick advice to sports fans. Lower your expectations and you will be happier.
That is the wise words of Zach, and I
Actually, no, fuck you. Just get as involved with a team as you possibly can. You bleed every single color, including their alternate jerseys that they've ever had.
See, here's the problem now. I'm so emotionally invested into the Sharks at this point. Like, there's no going back. Like, I'm not kidding, and I am dead serious. The day they win the Stanley Cup, I will cry. I am serious.
I've said the same thing about the Flyers. As soon as the Flyers hoist that cup again, I'm crying like a baby. So,
like, dude, I was like, it's just you get so emotionally invested, and you spend so much time and your heart, your money, and at the end of the day, it's sports, and you have no control over the outcome.
And hockey's such a long fucking season. Like, if you're having a bad season, you're having a bad season. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's tough. So I will be happy to see the Sharks hoist one up.
Hopefully, and this is, I think, in my opinion, their best team. So hopefully, for my sake, they will. But a lot of playoffs to look forward to. Colorado is not going to be an easy one for us, and then from there we'll see. But like I said, I've said this over and over again. I could see any team in the final 8 here lifting it, and that's just hockey. But yeah, let's wrap. Let's wrap up the show here. It has been a long one, and like we said in the previous part, it'll probably be that way forever. But especially, we had a lot of stuff coming up.
NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs.
Yeah, this is the thick of it right here.
Yep.
And draft stuff as well. So
it won't be long till it's been 1 year. By the way, a couple more months, I think. So let's keep an eye out on that. I gotta go check that out, but yeah. So who knows?
Let's wrap it up. If you would like to contact us, as always, we're on Twitter at ComePlay Network. We as we said before, on a little hiatus, but we look especially now with school being over for me and Bobby. Hopefully, a little more activity and stuff will calm down. school is investing, so we will keep that in mind. But yeah, like I said, if you would like to contact us, you can reach us on Twitter. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you really liked it, subscribe. If you haven't already, and we will be back for episode 25. 25? 25?
25.
Yeah, 25. Next time.
I guess I'm the funnier than 24.
But until
25.
then, but until then, we will see you next time.
Go Pressures.